Stand by for Rising Sun with Logan Chitwood. Coming next.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rising Sun. I have a very special guest in here today. One of the most requested guests of all time for this show. He is an anime guru, Dragon Ball Z guru. He brings you guys gaming content, movie content. This guy has been on social media for a few years now. You might have heard of him. I'm sure you have. Welcome to the show, Blake Koala.
Welcome, Logan. Hello. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for bringing me on. Little do everyone knows that, little do anyone really understands and knows that I was one of the very first followers. I knew the origin story, the aura of Logan Chitwood. I knew from the beginning this man was going to be famous. I didn't know how big at the time, but this man has blown records in every aspect.
Man, that's an honor. And yeah, for real, we followed each other way back on TikTok when I was just before probably the blow up. What's the very first video you remember seeing of mine?
So I don't think it was the ogre video specifically because I followed you before then. I believe it might have been a Dragon Ball one related. I think it had something to do with your son, because at that time everyone they still do. They just loved how you interacted with Connor and just like what you did. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. He's an anime dad who takes care of his son and he just loves his son and they just nerd out on anime stuff. And then you started getting into the ogre persona and I said, oh, okay, Baki. No one really watches Baki, but that's a cool character to do. And then it just kind of took off from there. You followed me from, at the time, I was doing a lot of Dragon Ball facts, which I still, dabble in my Dragon Ball facts, but that was why you followed me, because of our love of Dragon Ball, and that's how we just kind of started that friendship from there.
Yeah, I remember right after I followed you, I went out to Orlando for a karate combat event, and I went to that Super Saiyan, that noodle place, and I saw like your sticker or like they were promoting you or saying that you've been there or something. I was like, oh shit, this guy's big time. And this was in the fall of 2022. So yeah, I mean, it's been a while now. I was going to ask you if the video was of me and Connor. Were we already doing videos yet? Because I didn't bring him on until a few months after I started blowing up on TikTok. But yeah, we started making those anime dad videos.
Yeah, whenever you did pretty much the first ogre video when you were punching the mannequin, like the first one, and that was it, because then you slowly followed me after that, and I saw that he's really cool, and then we just, Dragon Ball, and then I remember you saw that in 2022, you sent me a picture on Instagram, and that was actually one of my very first big collaborations, because I was helping opening that store at the time. And so it was crazy that just be like, yo, what are you doing in Florida? And he took a picture of me of like my little poster of like promoting the store. And I was like, that's crazy. What a small world. And then that following year, we met up at the Arnold. I think it was that following year.
That's right. Yep. Just a few, and so everything happened very quick with us following. Then, I go out to Florida, I see you. Okay. You're very big in the anime Dragon Ball Z community. And then we meet a few months later. So it's very cool. And we had a good time out there at the Arnold in Ohio, and we watched the John Jones fight. And
yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did. We just had a lot in common. I think that was really just kind of what hit it off. It wasn't necessarily that we, did the things on social media. It was just we had so many interests,
right,
that were very similar when it came to bodybuilding and anime and just overall things that we enjoyed. And that just kind of hit off from there. And we've always stayed in contact. And every milestone that you hit and every milestone that I hit, we would always like congratulate each other. Even if, we were busy, we understood like, yo, we're on that grind, and we always just kind of stayed in each other's circle.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what it's all about. And it's cool to have like content creator friends and just friends in general that are like that and do support and keep up and are happy with the success that the other one or both of us are bringing, So that's very cool.
Absolutely.
And it's an honor, man, to have you on this show today. And I'm excited to get in, like, deep dive into your background. What were you doing before social media? How was your life growing up as a kid? What was your first anime? So just kind of take me into your childhood, your background before being known as the anime nerdy guru you are today, man.
Nerdy guru, man. I just, I always love being the place for people to feel accepted. I think that's my biggest thing, and my nerdy guru stuff. If you see any of my videos, you know me from my videos. I just like to talk about nerdy things, being anime, movies, television, whatever interests me. Everyone's welcome, and that's my biggest thing when it comes to that. And that kind of like it gets into my childhood in the sense of, when I was growing up, and I know Logan, you'll understand this as well, is the things that are cool now, movies, television, comic books, anime, were not cool when we grew up. So, we got made fun of all the time for those things. So, when the biggest inspiration of even creating content was to have a place for people to feel accepted, because we were never accepted growing up. And so that is where it really stemmed from. And a part of that is also just entertaining people, either by facts, either by, skits, either just by overall excitement for things of animes or movies or television. So, I think what it was for me growing up was just, it was hard to talk about anime like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece when all these animes were coming out, because it just wasn't, socially accepted as it is today. So childhood wise, I didn't have a bad childhood. I had a great childhood, awesome childhood. My parents are amazing. My brother, everything. We were just a couple of nerdy kids, and it was that time, in the late 90s, the early 2000s, that kind of, nerd culture wasn't super accepted. And so with today now in the age of social media and where everything has gone in that pop culture, is I never would have thought that. And it's more recent. I would say it's only like maybe 8 years old now, 10 years old, that it's been so accepted. Like, it wasn't like that even in high school.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that.
Maybe less than that. I feel like it's getting even more because of the music industry, that we got rappers rapping about it now. We have, it's just more in a lot of things, like even baseball. Like, they did a collab with Japan. You saw that, right? I think you
you being a pro baseball, that must have been so surreal for you to be like, they're doing a collaboration with baseball and anime.
Yeah, I was like, why now? When I'm 10, 15 years out of baseball, I'm like, dude, come on. Why are we going to do anime collabs now? Oh, it's cool now? It's like, it was a Demon Slayer collab with MLB in Japan, I think. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that was like, that would have not happened easily 8 to 10 years ago.
No, you couldn't have talked MLB into, that being a good idea. But now it is. But you're right, man. It wasn't as popular, and we got made fun of. But go into what was your first anime? Like, how did you even get into it? What did you see first?
From my earliest memory, it was just a few episodes of Dragon Ball Z, but at the time I didn't think much of it. It was just a cartoon. It wasn't until, honestly, the Studio Ghibli films that really kind of got me more into it, because growing up as a super young kid, my mom and my dad always try to find movies for us to kind of keep us from running around the house. So we would watch a lot of the Studio Ghibli films, and Spirit Away, Howl's Moving Castle, My Neighbor Totoro. And so starting with that, not thinking it was anime, I said, oh, I really like cartoons. And then, of course, you'd have Toonami, and with Toonami, they would always showcase Dragon Ball Z. So then I would always watch Dragon Ball Z, and it just kind of slowly took off from there, going into the 2000s, One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, which, funny enough, I actually watched more Naruto than out of all of them. I didn't get into One Piece till way later. I like Naruto a lot. So it was a lot of Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and it kind of just kept going from there. But it wasn't just anime; it was movies as well. Lord of the Rings was a big part of my childhood as well. Absolutely love the Lord of the Rings movies. I have an entire sleeve on my calf dedicated to Lord of the Rings characters.
Oh, seriously? Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
my
that.
entire calf.
I know about the Broly tat, but I didn't know about the Lord of the Rings.
The Broly tat.
Yeah, that's sick.
But yeah, I just was always I loved entertainment. I loved entertainment. I love movies. I love how stories are told.
Yeah.
Because I think, you know, life could be hard sometimes, and movies and television and even anime is a great escape of not worrying about the hardships of the world. And also maybe even just the simple things like when you're in high school. You know, high school wasn't super easy for me. I am dyslexic and I have ADD. And so going through school wasn't the easiest. But when it came to reading and writing. So if you ever see any of my videos and you see descriptions, if certain things are misspelled, I'm always asking my wife to be like, hey, can you double check, like spell this for
Yeah.
me? Like I'll mess up things all the time.
Really?
And my followers will literally call me out on it. They're like, oh, you totally misspelled that. I said, it's the dyslexia, my bad.
Yeah.
But with that, reading and writing was never my favorite thing, but I was a visual learner. So that also helped with wanting to always just watch movies and anime and television, which even when it came to schooling in class, my best subject was videography. We did a video class. I did it for all 4 years of high school, and I loved every part of it.
Dude, I was going to ask, like, what did you do in high school? Did you play sports? Were you into, like, acting or plays or, what? Tell us about, like, going through high school and then if you went to college and then leading into what you're doing now. How did you get to the point where you're doing now?
It's a long story. You ready?
Okay. Hey, that's why we're on. Hey, that's why we're doing a podcast.
Okay. It's a long story. I love it.
But we want to know about you, I want to know about you. And, this, it's very motivating for people that even the young crowd that might not know what they want to do, that are just like us, that are nerdy, you want to break out of your shell, but you don't know how. So this will definitely help.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay. So, with being dyslexic and having ADD, I was very fortunate that my mom and my dad, who were very smart individuals, were able to pick up on it early. Now, this is, during the late 90s, early 2000s that they were starting to pick up on it. So they picked it up around when I was in the third grade. And so when they were in the third grade, I had to constantly get pulled out of class. Because at the time they didn't really have a lot of knowledge when it came to kids that have dyslexia or ADD or any learning differences.
Yeah.
So that was a big portion of my younger life, in the sense of I was pulled out of class a lot. I was doing extra work to pretty much learn how to read and learn how to write. Because of that, of course, a lot of my time was spent also like watching movies and watching TV just to kind of pass the time. Or I didn't really hang out with like a lot of people except my brother, because what we had to do is we would have to sometimes drive to different locations. I lived in Connecticut at the time. So a lot of these classes and things that I would have to do like outside of school would have to be in New York or Massachusetts. So we'd have to drive all the time. And I remember because my mom had a really older, she had a minivan, and this minivan was like so high tech at the time, like had this little tiny monitor on the back of like the whatever it was called, the seat. Like It was like, I don't know, like not even 720, like a 310 pixels, like you could barely see anything. But I would watch movies all the time on the car ride because it was almost like an hour car ride to get to the session. Go to the session, met with the teacher. He would try to teach me how to read and write, because in public school, they go at such a fast rate, at least back then, that a lot of kids that had dyslexia or ADD would fall behind a lot easier. And they thought the solution was, oh, we'll hold them back a grade. And that was a very common thing to do.
Yeah, it was. I don't think they do that as much now.
No, not as much. And so they were like, he just needs a little bit extra time, a little bit more, understanding of certain things. So my mom, bless her heart, took that and said, you know what, I'm going to give him extra attention with tutors and yada, yada, yada. And that was a lot of my younger life until I got into high school. In high school, I was lucky enough that there was a school called the Foreman School in Connecticut that was a school that started in the 1935 that learned early on that there were kids with ADHD, ADD, dyslexia, you name it, any sort of learning difference, that was what they specialized in. So it was a private school. So my mom was smart enough, and ironically, this school was literally only 20 minutes away from where my house was. And so I went there for my high school. With that, it was a pretty normal high school. The thing that they really emphasized with it was smaller classes. So the idea of it was, because a lot of public schools, you'd have 50 to 100 kids. That's why kids that needed a little bit more extra attention when it came to learning would kind of fall behind because there were too many kids. So their program was smaller classes. So we'd have no more than 10 kids in a class. And it would be easier for us to learn the curriculum when it came to history, science, math, you name it. There were other, obviously, classes and stuff that weren't as, easy, and everyone struggled with anything. There were kids with dysgraphia, which is a version of dyslexia, but more for numbers. So everyone had something. But with going to that high school, for what I did curriculum wise, and outside of it, I did play football. I did it for 2 years, for freshman and sophomore year. And then I quit because I just was like, I don't know if I could really do this anymore. I wanted to do snowboarding, which I did. And then I did a musical and plays around sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. So that's when I started to get more into the entertainment portion. And I still had a little bit of a sports background. Like, I would lift occasionally because my dad loved to lift. So I'd always constantly be interested in lifting, but I also loved the theater. So I did a lot of that through high school. Again, visual learner versus, I guess, reading and writing in that sense. Just, I loved putting my hands on things and learning stuff. And when it came to scripts and plays, that's kind of how I did it as well, in the sense of I was able to paint a picture of what was said in the scripts that I was able to then project as a person when it came to the stage. So high school was fun. High school was great in the sense of I had a lot of people that were very similar in the aspects of the learning differences. With that, it was still high school. Not everyone was super nerdy. Not everyone was super into anime. Not everyone was super into the things I were. So, of course, there were cliques. It was a classic high school in the mid-2000s. If you liked anime and all that nerdy stuff, we all sat with each other, and there was like 5 of us, and that was it. Shout out to you guys.
Yes. I was going to say, I had about 5 friends that we all watched, at least Dragon Ball Z, and it wasn't much, I actually only hung out with about one or two people, mainly just one, throughout high school, and but I also played baseball. But in the meantime of hanging out, I only chose like 1 or 2 people, so the clique is small, Yeah. But go ahead. But sitting at the table, you said.
Yeah, just sitting at the table, we would nerd out. Heck, we played Minecraft when it first came out. So anyone watch the Minecraft movie? I was there when it first came out. Okay, we were playing it on
Dude, that was in the early 2000s.
That was in 2000. No, not early 2000s. That was 2009. The first beta came out in 2009,
okay.
And then it didn't like not fully develop. It was in beta since 2009 all the way to 2013. It might have got out of beta in 2012. But it was in beta for a long time. It was just
a computer game?
Yeah, just a computer game. It was just a simple computer game. There wasn't like super crazy mobs like there is now, or like villagers weren't even a thing at the time. It was like knock down tree, build square house, don't get killed by spider, don't get killed by creeper, and that was like it. And it was really dark. Like the first version of Minecraft, if it was nighttime, you could not see anything. Like, you just hear mobs all around you.
I've never played Minecraft. I didn't know anything about it because those years I was in college, and then I was drafted in 2010 by the Oakland A's. So I was playing like pro ball and everything. I didn't have access to a computer like that. Like, I mean, this was like during the time when laptops, like if you had a laptop, oh man,
you're
cool. Balling, so it wasn't very common, So, yeah, man. So I never got to experience that Minecraft thing, and I never got into it. Like Connor, he's never wanted to play Minecraft. He wanted to play a little bit of Fortnite and Roblox, mainly.
Dude,
but
Roblox is like the new generation thing. So I was surprised
Yeah.
even Minecraft is as popular as it is now.
yeah. So, but when I look at it, I'm like, dude, this would be on a computer back in '95 or '6. You know, like the graphics it looks like that, like those old Doom graphics or something like that, or just like old computer game that we would download. You know, it'd take about a day or two to download, but it was just like that's what it reminds me of, those graphics. But I mean, it looks fun. A lot of people love it. I was gonna go see the movie because Connor knows what Minecraft is. He knows the characters, but we've never really played the game. But yeah, I know it's good. Don't spoil it for me. But you've been putting out a lot of good content about
I
it.
have.
But
I won't spoil it. It was funny. I laughed. If you just want to laugh, go see the movie. That's all I'm gonna say. You want a good laugh.
Yeah.
Adults
Yeah,
or
so
kids.
you agree with Jack Black being what was his name? Steve?
Steve. Look, at the end of the day, Jack Black is going to be Jack Black, and he did what Jack Black does is be Jack Black. And I mean, the movie just grossed $700 million, like currently.
Yeah, insane.
So it's projected to get $1 billion, which is
Insane.
crazy.
Better than
Crazy.
better than Snow White, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that. Well,
I've been seeing a lot of your videos on Snow White where around the time when it was coming out or just it came out, and that was brutal.
I knew it was gonna tank pretty hard. I just didn't know it was gonna tank that hard because even if the movie was actually good, which on top of it it wasn't good besides like the music, at the end of the day you're trying to promote a movie, and Rachel, I'm sorry, you gotta just be better. Like if you want to promote your movie that you're starring in, sometimes just put your political agendas aside. No one cares about that. You got to promote a movie because a job's a job.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yep, exactly, man. But going back, we're still in your high school years. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I did want to talk about that Minecraft part. But go back to that. We were talking about Minecraft, friend clicks, and all that. So, and you were doing musicals.
So like with the friend clicks, we did everything. And this is just going to go back to how I'm able to talk about so much when it comes to content because I would do Magic the Gathering. I did Dungeons and Dragons. We played Minecraft. We talked about anime. We still worked out when we got the chance. I did still tackle sports more in my junior, senior year. I actually played rugby. I absolutely loved rugby. That was probably my favorite sport. Slight hot take, rugby is a better sport than American football.
Dude, rugby. So you grew up in Connecticut, you said, right? This was Connecticut High School.
No. So this was a school. They did not provide rugby. I actually, because again, I was just a very active person.
Okay.
The school that I went to was called the Foreman School. There was another club in my junior and senior year of high school that it was an hour away from my actual high school that played rugby, and I wanted to play rugby so bad that my coach literally signed off on it, and he said, dude, if you're going to go play like rugby and you're going to do something after school, dude, I approve. So literally after school was done, I would leave around 3, go to rugby practice for junior and senior year, and go out there and just play rugby. And they approved it as a sport because what my school did as well was that they had mandatory sport, and that could have been a play, that could have been soccer, lacrosse, you name it. Like we were mandatory to do a sport after school, which was a great idea and a great program. But with that, one of the options was to also maybe do an art class or videography or a play. So you have multiple different options to do.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a lot different from what my high school did here in Texas. We didn't have rugby. We didn't have that like, we had like art class and stuff and, like, what would you call it? Theater. But it wasn't like mandatory or like pushed, like you need to go do something, after school like that. So that's different.
Their idea was, again, because we were a specialized private school, was that more the kids had things under their belt for their resume was going to look better for college. And the biggest push because of that was because all of us as kids had a learning difference. It being obviously dyslexia, A.D.D, dysgraphia, you name it. So they programmed their high school to essentially give us the best opportunities we could to potentially get into the best colleges because we weren't going to get it necessarily through grades because school was already hard enough for most of us.
Yeah.
Like math, I barely passed. Spanish, I straight up got a D. The Spanish teacher literally said, like, you're dyslexic, Blake. You barely can speak English. I will, like, you failed, but I gave you a D. So just, let's move on and give you something else instead. So it was very specialized in that instance. But the teachers were great. Everyone was great. And they understood what kids with learning disabilities at that time needed, and they did a great job overall. And we had I only had a graduating class of, I think, 75, and they haven't seen a class that big since like 1945. Every other class was like maybe 30, or like very small, very, very small in the essence of like who graduated. Yeah. So it was a very specialized high school because of the learning differences.
Okay, so you were put in that because of that style of...
Because of that, because they wanted the best opportunity, because we would have some kids that were very athletically talented and maybe getting into a D1 school because of their athleticism, but they just couldn't read for shit. So like the colleges would reject them if they're...
I'm sorry to cut you off. That's a lot of athletes too, though. They're not all smart. And some of the best ones, had to have help, or definitely help, and lots of push through college just so they could play for the team. That happens all the time.
100%. So they could play for the team.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I bet you they just didn't even know they probably had dyslexia or they had ADD.
Oh, absolutely.
Because during that time, no one knew.
Or didn't give a shit about school and just wanted to play sports.
The last option, It's crazy though, is because a lot of that, I almost felt that as well until I started to almost learn that it's not necessarily my fault. It's not like I'm not trying. It's literally just because I have a learning difference. It's hard to say words or even spell correctly sometimes. So it's definitely very, very different now. I know there's definitely more awareness of it, which is really nice.
Yeah. Are you this is jumping topics and sub. Are you a sub or dub guy?
Dub is Dragon Ball Z only, and then sub everything else.
And I'm bringing this up because of your dyslexia, and you got to read.
Okay,
you got to read.
Growing up, it was dub.
Okay,
growing up was dub.
Okay,
growing up was dub. But again, because of the school did such a great job, it is obviously a lot easier for me to read and write now than it was back then.
Okay, makes sense.
So they did their job. They did their job.
Okay,
so absolutely growing up was dub.
Okay.
Sub now, because I have the comfort of sitting on my couch and reading the subtitles. Does it take me a minute? Yeah, but I can read them. I can read them.
Yeah, because if this was like childhood, you wouldn't make it through 5 minutes of an episode?
No.
If it was sub, what's going on?
No. If it was sub, no, not at all. I'd be like, I'm so confused. I would have messed up all the words. I probably would have said, I know it's Goku, but I probably would have said, oh my God, maybe literally go chew. Probably go chew. I probably misspelled something.
Yeah.
What did I could never for the life of me spell out because correctly. There's one trick that I learned that I still do today sometimes is because they would teach us would be like, okay, how do you spell because? It would be big elephants can't always use small exits. And so you would say something super long that would explain how to spell out the word.
Oh, wow.
Or Wednesday. I still, for the life of me, if I ever text you Wednesday, it will probably be misspelled. We're going to meet up Wednesday. It will be misspelled. I still do that.
I think you abbreviated it. I think you abbreviated it because you did bring up Wednesday because I asked you what days you're available. I think you just put WED, like W-E-D. So
and I probably did that because I was like, I'm not going to fucking tell Logan that I don't want to spell Wednesday until I see him.
No, it's good. Dude, yeah, man. That's understandable. But going back through high school, what were you planning on doing after high school? Did you go to college?
A little bit. So high school overall, big nerd, small groups. We nerded out on everything. We loved everything from, you know, anime, magic, all of it, like big nerd on everything. College, I checked out 3 different colleges. The one I ended up going to for a little bit was actually Johnson Wales University in Rhode Island, and I went for hospitality and hotel management because I was like, you know what, I like talking to people. You know, I'm very much a people person. You know, my background was team sports and then also doing plays and just being just artsy. In the end, I should have got into film, but at the time, everyone's like, film has no career. At that time, they're like, film is just a stupid degree. You're not going to do anything with it. You're just going to end up like shooting commercials and literally just work for like no one. So in the end, I should have like went into film, but it was different time, different place. And I was like, you know, let me do hotel management, hospitality in Johnson Wales. And this is where the dyslexia really comes into play because once you go from a very specialized private school, which were very accommodating and did a very good job with people that learning differences, when you get out into the real world, into a real school, life changes. So I only lasted close to 8 months in college until it actually, my mom and my dad were like, you know what? I think you should drop out. I think we need to figure something else for you because college is not for you. I literally was on an 8-month bender, doing God knows you could imagine, just not in a good place whatsoever. And I got, you know, lucky enough to find a program here in Florida, because I live in Florida now, Sunshine State, back in 2012, like late 2012, early 2013, called the Disney College Program. And I got into the Disney College Program at the time where I was still in college, because you could only apply if you were still in college. So I applied, moved down to Florida. I started as a custodial member at Typhoon Lagoon, best water park in Disney. And after that, what was it? It was only a 4-month program. I was like, you know what? I'm dropping out of college. I dropped out of college. And there was an extension. As long as you were in the program, you were set. You didn't have to still attend college. So after that, I extended my program for another 4 months. And before I knew it, I was already in Florida for 8 months. And I said, let's see what happens there. And that was the next stage of my life.
So you've been at Disney, or you were at Disney back in 2013.
Since 2013 all the way till 2020. Well, yeah, long time.
Wow. And now you're at Universal.
Universal. I'm at Universal for a little bit too. Yeah. So I'll get into the next part. I told you I was going to give you the whole life story, man.
No,
I got
good.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, mine's crazy too. So, but I like to hear it. I mean, this is interesting. It's something that we wouldn't know about you, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and it's actually where the bodybuilding comes into play. So, this is where I kind of find another passion. I love passions. Passions are fun. They keep us alive. You know.
Yeah.
You always want to like try new things in life. So at this time, around 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, let's say, working for Disney, I'm doing multiple different things. I jumped from custodial to going to Hollywood Studios, doing park tickets, selling tickets the year after.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got myself into the entertainment industry for Disney. And what I mean by that is they like to call it being characters with. So yes, I played Goofy. I played Darth Vader. I played Gaston when I didn't have facial hair. I actually, before social media, went super viral for playing Gaston. And no, if you're listening, not the Gaston that did a bunch of push-ups. That was another buddy of mine. He went super viral. If you're a Disney fan, you know who I'm talking about. But the video that I went viral for was that I was actually using sign language on a guest who was deaf. Because going back to my high school story, my Spanish teacher, as I told you, failed me, was nice enough to fail me and pass me / fail me, and said at that time, you know, you're not really good at Spanish. Why don't you try American Sign Language? Because it's more visual learning, because to learn sign language, you need to learn hand signs to be able to speak to people that are deaf. So my junior year, I did sign language. Still a little rusty now, unfortunately, but during the time of the video, which was probably around 2016, and I'm playing Gaston, and if you guys really want to like look it up, more than welcome to look it up. I know it's still...
So we can find this.
You could probably find it. Yeah, just look up Gaston Interaction ASL. I think it went like super viral on YouTube. That is me, a young version of me, and I'm signing to a girl who is deaf. And I essentially just say, "Hey, my name is Gaston. I know I'm the prettiest guy in the world." And because Gaston was a very cocky individual, so he would always like talk about himself in a very high manner, and always pretend that he wants to marry Belle. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time, and that was one of the very first viral videos that was me, and no one ever knew until now, until me talking about it.
There we go. There we go.
I don't work for
We
Disney, and I
found
don't speak for the company,
Gaston.
so I could talk about it.
We found the viral Gaston finally. Here it is.
If you want, you scroll as far as you can on my Instagram. There are still
Yeah.
pictures of me as Gaston. They're still on there on my Instagram.
We'll display it right here, right in the middle, right here. We'll show everybody.
I look like a super baby face. Like it's crazy. I'm like sitting at like maybe 190 at best. I'm like 270 now, so like a very 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 small individual. But yeah, I did parades, I did shows, I did everything Disney, and I absolutely loved it. I had a great time. With that, I was watching anime because what we would do a lot of the times was you do 30 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 30 minutes on, 10 minutes off, because it's Florida, it's really hot, and you need breaks. So you do like a lot of breaks. So every time I would come back from doing a set, they're called like sets. You had like 8 sets a day. It was like an 8-hour shift. I would get on my phone and just relax because I don't want to talk, because I'm spending like almost meeting 100 people at a time just talking as this other character that's not me. And I would sit and watch anime. And of course, I would watch Dragon Ball Z. And at the time, Dragon Ball Super is going on. So I'm getting caught up on Dragon Ball Super while in between sets as Gaston. And then when I was done with work, I would literally go to the gym and get motivated and work out to Dragon Ball Super.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. I was gonna mention eventually, like, because for me, anime, I watch it to be motivated. Like, did you get a lot of motivation from Dragon Ball Z, anime in general, other animes? Because that's how I watch it, or a lot of the shows that have jacked characters. That's why mainly my top shows are just jacked character animes. So, and
dude,
yeah,
easily.
man, how has that motivated you just throughout your life, like since watching anime?
I mean, from Goku alone, from growing up to now, to even like throughout the, like, a lot of people like to say that the Dragon Ball in general is simple, and a part of that, yes, but the other part that a lot of people miss about Dragon Ball is that the simple fact that you overcome the odds and that you always try to be a better version of yourself, and you always try to reach the next level or go over, over 8,000. You always want to take it to the next step and never stop, moving forward. And so with the beginning of my life and to what I'm doing now, I've never wanted to stop. I've always wanted to get into the next level, get into the next phase of my life, always keep pushing forward, because you're always going to have hardships in life. And Goku and Dragon Ball and that entire series has always been a representation for me to always keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. And I think that is the most beautiful, pure form of storytelling, is just being a good person, trying to never get like down, and just, even if you are knocked down, to keep moving forward. And Goku is the, purest anime heart character when it comes to that stuff, because no matter what happens, he'll still put a smile on his face. Heck, the man gets excited for fighting.
Yes.
Who do you know gets exciting for fighting? Even if he loses, he still has a smile on his face.
Yeah.
So I think yes. And I've also had plenty of Dragon Ball Z music motivation videos that have helped me pull 500-pound deadlift and you name it. So
Dude, those are the best, man. All those, those edits is just, whew, man, those old AMVs, man. Oh my gosh, dude. That's what we, got jacked to. And like what is that, 2008 through 2014, 15, those old school type AMVs, you know, with the Broly edits and, you know, the Gohan versus Cell. I mean, with Linkin Park in the background. So it's,
Dude, Gohan especially, dude. Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah, they're just great. All the animes are great, man. And like, so to answer your question, yes and yes.
and I just want to jump to the part. So how did you get into social media and what year was that? And what did you start doing? And how did it lead to what you're doing now?
I have jumped through so many hoops in social media, and I know you're going to understand this as well, coming from a baseball person. But I started social media back around like, I would say 2016 or like 2015, 2016, during the early ages of the fitness industry, of fitness social media, when that was booming.
Yeah.
When you had early Joey Swole, which I did a workout with Joey Swole before he became popular.
Oh, did you really?
I don't know if he ever sees this, but Joey, if you're ever watching this, back in 2016, you were with a company called, you'll know this, Shreds.
Uh-oh.
You walked into Sia Fitness in Orlando, Florida, and you said, to me and my buddy Scotty, you said, yo, do you guys want to do a workout? Because we went up to him at the time. We said, Joey, we really like you. You're really motivating. You're such a cool guy. And this is like early Joey, like before he went super viral. No one knew who he was unless you're part of the fitness industry at that time. We worked out together at Sia Fitness in Orlando, Florida, and it was the most memorable thing ever because to us, in that time, he was, you know, he was huge in the fitness square, in the fitness space. Like he was a really cool, very motivated guy. He's never not been who he is. I will always support Joey Swole because from day one, since I met him in 2015, he has never stopped being the person that he is today.
Yeah.
And so I remember that. And, that was also when I was bodybuilding. That was when my buddy was bodybuilding. He did a show. I did a show. And we were just in that space. So I was trying to be one of the early fitness influencers at the time. Little did I know, I probably should have went into strongman, which I'm doing now because my body type was more built for lifting rocks and heavy shit instead of cutting and being miserable. But, you know, you learn. The start of it was during the era of the fitness industry, and that's when I would start posting workouts, and I would post some of my Disney stuff, and I would just kind of dabble on Instagram, and that was pretty much it when it came to social media because videos weren't a thing. It was either you would just literally post on YouTube if you wanted to do videos, high quality content. Shorts were not a thing. Surprise, everyone! Shorts were not a thing. Like that is such a new era is shorts.
Right. We had Vine. We had that Vine for a little bit, you know. Were you ever on
like
Vine?
3 seconds?
Yeah. 30 seconds.
Like 3-second videos. You know? But I only watched Vine. I never got on it. I do remember the Logan Paul era when he first started and all those, you know, all the people that were on Vine. But no, I never got on Vine like that because when did it close? 2015, 2016?
No,
a little bit later?
A little bit later than that. 2018, maybe 19.
It was like at a high because I remember it in college in 2013.
Yeah.
It was at the super peak. And then it just died out, and then like everyone, at least in the fitness industry, it was all about Instagram, because at the time
Instagram was big.
Like you'll know this too, because you're affiliated. I mean, we're both affiliated by G Fuel. If you had a G Fuel affiliate, you made it. Like at that time, you were like the king of the crop with your 10% discount code. You were the king of the crop back in like 2016, 2017. If you had an affiliate code and you were with like some sort of fitness company, you were like, you made it.
Yeah.
Like if they had my following now, like I'd probably be flown out everywhere back in the day.
Dude, that was so massive because it was like, okay, it was most likely a real following, you know? It's like, okay, how did we get it back then? And if you had 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, that was so huge back then. Those were famous people, you know?
Yeah.
And getting 1,000 likes on a picture, you know? It's just, that was a different era.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like I have 40K on Instagram alone. That would have gotten me any door open. Any door open back then.
Yeah. Codes, you know, that was huge back then. And I try to tell a lot of companies like codes, like that's early, like, 2015 through maybe 2019, 20. But
it's not a thing anymore.
Like, that was so big back then. But a lot of people, you know, out of my experience, don't use a lot of code base as much, or I don't see it. But it was huge back then.
No, I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And I've had that discussion, and there's a shift going on, and we could also get into that later when it comes to like content creation and all that good stuff that I've learned and you've learned. But there's definitely a shift from what we were growing up on to what content is now. And heck, the new generation now, like, dude, I'm still like 20 steps behind on what is trending in the new social media in the sense of the generation that is growing up with it. Dude, they're like 30 steps ahead of us.
Dude, it's constantly evolving. It's like, dude, if we continue to do what we did the previous month or the previous,
Heck, the
3,
previous
4 months,
week.
a year ago, like we would be left behind. And a
Yeah.
lot of people get stuck and they just don't evolve with what's kind of trending and
100%.
how videos start evolving. And it's just getting faster and faster with like getting people's attention or just more dramatic. It's crazy.
100%.
And or sometimes like videos will pop off like I have no idea why. Why would this video work? But this video that I worked really hard on doesn't work. It's strange.
Dude, the Snow White video, dude, that went like 4.9 mil. I was like, okay, dude, what? I'm known for like anime and I dabble in the movies and the television now the last like few months. But like the Snow White one, most of my audience knows me from anime, and it got a 4.9 mil on talking about Snow White. And then I did it again 2 weeks later with talking about Shrek 5. That went 6 mil. And I was like, what?
They're trying to tell you like, hey man, get away from the anime stuff. They want to see you talk about, trending movies now.
They're like, we need Blake to start yapping more. That's the only thing we care about. And that's what I've been doing. And it's working.
The rants, man, because those were good videos. You were talking about like things that were really being talked about amongst a lot of pages and stuff like that trending. But there's videos of other stuff that's trending that you talk on that doesn't do as well. So it's like, it's confusing. It's very confusing in that way, but I don't know. And I try to tell people all the time, like, I can only tell you what I know from experience, but I don't know everything about like, because they'll come up to me and be like, what are some tips about social media? Well, try to talk or do something that's trending or, a song that's trending, a topic that's trending, try to catch people's attention. But sometimes even that doesn't work. So
100%.
I don't know.
And I know you and myself, we've had plenty of videos where we thought like everything lined up.
Yeah.
ABC, everything, music, the visuals, what have you, everything was perfect. You get like 10% of the views that you were hoping it would be.
Yeah.
And then that quote unquote less effort video that you worked on would get millions. You're like, okay.
Dude, yeah, tell me about that because you were talking about like, what was that, Instagram that was saying that? Less effort or something? Is that what the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
So there's a new thing right now, and going back to your point of saying like, obviously the algorithms and everything keeps changing. It does, and it's changing like crazy. This year I really dedicated myself of doing as much research as possible and trying to keep up as much as possible. With that, I discovered, and you guys are more than welcome to take this as advice, and I hope it helps, is that going back to the attention span and what is trending, is that it used to be you had 3 seconds to capture someone to get interested in a video. Now it's 1.5 seconds, so it's shortened even more. With that, I found that I like to call it FaceTime videos. Things with green screen behind me, talking about a topic like we're on a call right now. Something more in person, like you're my best friend. Like the viewer that's watching is my friend and I'm FaceTiming you and I'm talking to you about this subject that's going on. That's what's trending right now, because now in 2025, people are sick of the over-edited, saturated videos, which I was doing last year. People are swiping away from those and more interested in the quote-unquote low effort, more conversation starter videos. And that's what I've been doing since January, and it's been working.
Yeah. Good.
It's working. I gained another extra like 10K on Instagram alone in just like 3 months, 2 months.
And that's good
Just
that
from
you
that.
picked up on that and you have changed something, because like I said, a lot of people don't, and they get left behind and then they're stuck, and then they're just like, well, I don't know. It was working before, but you got to constantly re-innovate.
And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't like for a month prior, because I was struggling. I had a solid 2 months. every single one of my high quality videos, from interviews, from skits, you name it, like good quality videos that would have done good like 2 years ago, were like 3,000 views, 2,000 views, 100 views. I was like, what is going on? And then I just tried to start following the trends, and then I got out of anime even more, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to make a video, I'm going to talk about what I like to talk about, and if you want to follow me, you want to follow me. If you don't, you don't, because I still want to go on the basis that I'm a big nerd. I love everything, and I want to talk about everything. And it's a lot of variety, but I like talking about stuff, and it just seems to be working because apparently people like it when I yap.
Yeah, and that's good for like you with having the variety of different topics, different movie shows, whatever to talk about. So you're just not one niche, you know?
And I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I
that's
still
good.
talk about Dragon Ball. Daima. I made like 30 videos easily when Daima was out.
Dude, it was crazy. We'll get on Daima in a little bit, but because I wanted to talk to you when it was trending about it, but we just didn't have this set up yet.
We didn't have the
but
setup.
We'll get on Daima. I still want to go back to your social media, like
journey.
come up. Yes, you were trying to do fitness. When did it start getting into anime? What you're doing now?
What I'm doing now, I love this.
Yeah.
This is such a good transition. So, I'll try to make it a little speedy. Fitness didn't really happen, so I just enjoyed Instagram for what it was. Am I still here? Good. Still good? Cool. So yeah, the Instagram fitness didn't really work out, but I was still in the circle, still enjoying it, still lifting a lot. Changed to powerlifting to strongman. A lot of changes like in my hobbies. But social media wise, 2020 rolls around. We all remember 2020, and everyone was trying to figure out what they were going to do. Unfortunately for me, a lot of myself and other coworkers, we lost our job during 2020, so I didn't work for Disney anymore. Around that time, I was kind of already getting phased out in the sense of like I think it was my time to go. Like it felt like it was my time to go. So it was bittersweet, and I was happy and sad at the time, but I was like, you know what? I really love entertaining people. That's what I knew from from high school for doing plays, talking to people, from Disney, from obviously doing all the characters and all the shows that I did. I knew that I liked talking to people. And so I thought out of the pandemic, I said, you know what? Let me try streaming. So streaming was one of the very first things I did social media wise, and I actually was a horror video game streamer. So I played a lot of Dead by Daylight, Phasmophobia, and I did that for a solid year and a half, 2 years. It was 2 years until TikTok was starting to get even more popular. But what I used to do on TikTok was I would do the Twitch thing. I would showcase my clips. I would do skits. I would do whatever was trending for my audience on Twitch because that was my main platform. It wasn't until my wife now, but at the time my girlfriend, that her name's Autumn. Love you, Autumn. Hello. She was like, you know what? You really like anime and you love talking about it on your stream. Why don't you make a second TikTok and start talking about anime? And I said, yeah, why not? Because my other TikTok wasn't going anywhere. I had like 1,000 followers at best. Nothing was going on, and I was just trying to get people over to my Twitch. And it wasn't happening. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make a fun TikTok, talk about the things that I love, and I'll talk about anime. My first video was about Demon Slayer because I just finished Mugen Train. Was it Mugen Train at the time? Finished Mugen Train, finished Season 1. Something about Demon Slayer. I was excited for Season 2 getting announced. It was my very first viral video of me getting excited about Season 2 getting announced for Demon Slayer. It went viral, and I instantly had 8,000 followers after that. And I said, oh, there might be something here. So then I kept making videos off of Demon Slayer, and then I started mixing Dragon Ball in there. Even more views. Then I started talking about Dragon Ball facts. Even more views. Before I knew it, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50, met you. And I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. I slowly start to back away from Twitch because I'm starting to notice I'm getting way more notice on TikTok. I need to focus my time on TikTok, and I was getting super burnt out on Twitch because the thing about streaming, it's very taxing. You know, I was streaming 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like that was really hard on Twitch.
Dude, it's so hard.
It's so hard. Now, I still have community members from my Twitch that still follow me and have followed me from this day in my entire journey. And I love every single one of them. My hardcore Twitch viewers, I love every single one of you because they've literally been following me since day one. And they've stuck with me from everything that I've done, from changing genres to what have you. So they are literally probably my most loyal fans.
Dude, I was going to say
day
that.
one. I love every single one of them.
They are. Twitch, like, there's something about that community that they are so supportive and loyal, and I wish every platform was like that. But it's the hardest platform in my experience of getting any kind of views or following. It's insane.
It is. And, dude, I was so close, too, which was crazy about Twitch. Was like, I was on the cusp. I was at 65 views. I was right there before going, like, getting, like, verified, and it was around the time where people were starting to get their jobs back again, and the views started to tank, and you're just so stressed. You're like, God damn it, I'm at 65 every day, and then it started to go to like 50 to 40, then would hover around 30, and that also kind of pushed me out of it because I'm having TikTok blow up and where my Twitch is starting to just die, and I was just like, dude, I gotta make a decision here because like I gotta figure it out. So I just pushed over to TikTok, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to take a pause on Twitch. I need a break. I've been like pulling it for so long. I've been going so hard on it. Let me just take a break. Went over to TikTok, and more opportunities. Things just kept blowing up from there. And yeah, I was really well known, as you know, as the Dragon Ball guy on TikTok because every one of my videos were either a fact video on Dragon Ball or something else.
Yeah. And it was really like deep diving into the show. I was like, oh, this dude reminds me of, we've talked about this, Geekdom 101. And I was like, this dude knows just as much. Because I always went for my Dragon Ball news.
He definitely knows more.
Yeah, he does. He does. But you know a hell of a lot too. And I was just like, he knows, just as much as Geekdom, but in a short format way. I mean, you're not putting out long form videos like he was, but
no.
But yeah, you remind me a lot of that kind of style because a lot of people weren't doing that, and that's what I liked about your channel. But I also saw your Beerus video.
Yeah, dude,
that was one of the first.
That went so viral.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was a cat that went viral, right? There was a video that you took.
Yeah,
it was such a funny skit, and I wish you would
viral.
do more of these things, these skits, because they're funny to mix in. And
they are,
but
they
and
are.
it worked.
I wish
for you.
I want to. I think about skits all the time, and I need to.
Yeah.
And right now in my life, it's just time. It's just time right now.
Yeah.
I'm just so busy.
Yeah.
But I hope to. I hope to recreate that Beerus one. I'll probably do it again.
It was
somehow.
so funny.
I've had a few ideas in my brain of doing it in a funny way. On the anniversary, I think I got something cooking.
Okay, because you still got the cat, right?
So yeah, I still got the cat. I got 3 since that video was recorded at the. So if you don't see it, I'm assuming you'll put it up on the TV. But it was a viral stitch, as there is a Sphinx cat, a hairless cat, who went super viral. And I think the owner ended up messaging me on TikTok, was like, I love your stitch. And I think that I remember that happening. And she's like, your stitch was awesome. I absolutely loved it. But I stitched her cat, and I looked at my cat and was like, oh, I'm going to turn you into Lord of the Destruction. And I just grabbed my razor and pretended like I was going to shave my cat. I will say, when it comes to TikTok people, guys, I'm not actually going to shave my cat. It was a TikTok video. I'm not going to harm my cat. I never did.
Dude, they'll believe anything. They'll believe
anything.
Anything. Dude, they think all my skits are happening in real time and somebody's just recording this, like, and putting cuts in there, and they think, what's an example? Let's say a Yujiro video, a Yujiro skit. Obviously a skit. But they think I'm really choking a guy or punching my son or something, It's like
crazy work. Crazy work.
TikTok's another world, and I don't know. I love you, TikTok. I love you, TikTok community, but you're insane though. You're
absolutely
you're your own thing. You believe my Giga Chad character is Yujiro, so I don't know. But and it's obviously
real
different
thing,
characters.
Man.
But yeah, it's crazy though, man. I experience the same thing, and a lot of us all do on TikTok, about if you put anything out there. Oh no, he's really gonna shave his cat. Don't harm the cat.
And there's literally there's no part of that video that I didn't even get the razor near the cat.
No.
I'm like, okay, you can believe what you want. I'm not gonna shave your cat. And of course they're like, but a sphinx cat is hairless. They're naturally hairless. I said, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
I know. That's not part of the joke of the video.
Yes.
But
no,
it is what it is.
they
It's
also
social
think,
media.
you know, a lot of these anime characters are real people, but you know, the real Yujiro would hate this. It's like, what? The real Yujiro?
The real one? What do you mean? Logan's literally the closest one to being the real. So whatever he does counts. It's canon.
Dude, I got so much hate, and I still do. I got so much when I first started. So, and it mainly came from TikTok, but it always helps. Those comments help. And
100%.
When you're not getting hate on a video, you know it's probably not going to do well. So that's my
100%.
experience.
And it's funny because each social media app has a different type of hate. And I broke this down to one of my buddies. And hey, guys, don't get offended, but this is how it is. If you're on TikTok, you're going to get nothing but just garbage comments, like comments that do not make sense, not full form sentences or whatever. Instagram, you'll get the ratty teenagers that are just trying to get someone mad. Like you would tell they're saying this comment because they want you to respond, and it could be the nastiest comment ever. YouTube is you got the encyclopedia Google person who's going to give you a full breakdown of why you're wrong. Like YouTube just gives, like, I will get paragraphs from people just being like, well, actually, this is why this character is not as powerful as you think they are because this, and this.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
That's just how YouTube is. I love you guys, but every social media app has a different type of community when it comes to comments alone.
Exactly. Are you on Facebook at all?
I am. I
Because
don't pay attention to Facebook. Let me get back to that, actually.
For me,
I don't look.
Dude,
I don't look.
Facebook's brutal. They don't.
I don't
give a
look.
shit
That's
on
why.
there.
I don't look.
Oh,
Dude.
they'll want to kill you for real.
100%. Dude, the Snow White video, like, I don't care where you stand on that, but those comments were so bad. They were so bad. I'm like,
They're
guys,
psychopaths
chill.
on Facebook.
And I don't open the app. I throw it on there. I post it. And I close the app. I'm just like, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not responding.
And yeah, I mean, it's insane, psychopaths. But going back to social media again, are you happy with what you're doing? Are you having fun doing it? And
Yeah. So I guess I'll finish.
Do you have like a set goal with it? Do you want to do more? Do you want to just keep doing what you're doing? Like, is there any other end goal to this?
Yeah. So I would say during the TikTok time where I was starting to slowly, obviously, try to figure out what I wanted to do, my main goal has always been the same. What I've generated in content has changed. So my main goal, again, I've said it, is just that I always want to be the person, the influencer, the creator, that anyone that comes on my page feels comfortable being a nerd. That's easily my number one every time. I want them to be like, hey, this is a cool dude. He loves talking about nerdy stuff. And I just want to talk nerdy stuff with him because I never had enough friends and people in that instance that like nerdy stuff growing up. And everyone deserves to feel free, feel safe to talk like a nerd and just enjoy all spectrums of medium, from anime, movies, television, you name it. Everyone should be able to enjoy that freely. And I've always wanted to be that space for people just to be like, hey, Blake's a cool guy. I can vibe with him. I want people to feel like I'm your friend. So that's always been my goal number one, is like, I am your friend. And we just want to talk about some nerdy stuff. With that, as you know, because you've been following me forever, I've changed my content a lot. I was really well known for anime. I still talk about anime. But as the years have gone from 2021, 2022 to obviously now, I shifted away from anime and gotten more comfortable in the space of, I want to talk about what I want to talk about. Going back into movies and television. So back in 2023, late 2022, early 2023, I decided, you know what? I don't know what's happening with TikTok, because it was around that time where, I know you didn't experience, you were on the come up. You were killing it around this time. But at least for me, in my experience, TikTok was really flaky. TikTok was up and down. Not a lot of things were making sense view-wise and follower-wise. And I was like, you know what? I don't necessarily feel super secure with this platform. let me start pushing my other platforms. So I started pushing YouTube. I started pushing Instagram. I just last year started pushing Facebook. Great idea, by the way. Any creators, push Facebook if you want to get paid. They pay. So then I just started pushing everything and started to build more of an audience on all platforms. So now I feel a little bit more well-rounded on everything. Like I have an audience on every platform now. Good. And so with that, eventually came me being like, you know what? I just don't want to keep talking about anime because there's so many other things that I want to talk about. There's so many cool things that are happening that I love that I want to start talking about. So what I started to do in 2023 is I would start dropping some random variety videos. I would talk about like maybe the new Lord of the Rings project, War of the Rohirrim. I dropped that because I was still technically an anime, but it was Lord of the Rings. I talked about Star Wars Visions really early when that first season came out. It was still anime, but it was Star Wars. So I started dropping more and more, and then I was starting to have my loyal fan base stay with me. Some of my like hardcore fan base, maybe just Dragon Ball, they were kind of interested, but not as much, and that was okay. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I just want to post what I like. Good. And so late 2024 to now, I said full force, fuck it. I'm doing what I like. I want to talk about everything that I like, and that is anime, movies, television, some video games, like literally whatever I find interesting, I'm going to talk about. Yeah. And that's just kind of on the journey I am now. And to answer your question to, you know, where I want to go with that now is, unfortunately, I am not full-time. I would say I'm a part-time creator. I am lucky enough that I only have to work 4 days a week, and I absolutely love my job. Yeah. I work at Universal now, the rival company of Disney. I absolutely love Universal. They treat me very well, and I really love everything that they do. And
shout out to Universal. I'll be going there in July.
Shout out to Universal. I love you guys. I also just in general I like working. In the essence of when it comes to creativity, it's really nice to just kind of step away for a second, kind of do the 9 to 5, and come back and get even more excited for videos. It's a lot of grinding, but I'm also kind of a bougie man, as you can tell. I got a house, I got dogs, I got a wife, I got expenses. So, you know, it's always good to have another stream of income, and this is for any creators just trying to make it like full-time. Not everyone's going to be a Logan Chitwood. It's very hard, and I know Logan knows this. It's very, 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 very hard. You could see anyone that I have over 200,000 followers across all my platforms. A lot of people think I'm full-time. I'm not. Everyone's financial situations are different, and that's okay. But not everyone in this state right now, creator-wise, can make it to full-time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I'm full-time, or if I become full-time, doesn't mean I made it necessarily. With a lot of my hardcore fans and a lot of the people that meet me, I always continually get, which I think is a compliment at this point, I always continually get, you know what, Blake, I love your videos, but you're really slept on. You know that? I said, I know I'm slept on, but that's okay. You know, because it's the grind. At the end of the day, it's the grind. So to answer your question, absolutely the goal would be full-time, you know, to continue to push forward, to continue to get more, you know, obviously people into the Blake circle, the Blake Koala circle, to, you know, just enjoy everything nerdy, you know, all that stuff.
I mean, if you believe in yourself, and I tell this about, you know, to people all the time that want help with social media. I mean, if you believe in yourself and you continue to do it, but you got to do what you got to do to survive and, you know, to pay the bills. But, you know, if you continue to push like you're pushing, and to do it like you're doing right now, you know, part-time, you're putting out a lot of good content consistently.
Dude, like I got like 3 videos a day just the last like 2 months.
That's insane. Respect to you, because that's even hard to do full-time, man. So, I mean, that's insane. But if you're not doing this to try to become famous, like, you're going to eventually get to where you want to be. If you are good at what you do and you constantly innovate and you constantly put out good content, good quality content, and study the game, you know? I mean, a lot of people are trying to do this to get famous, and it most likely won't work if you're like, man, these first 10 videos aren't going anywhere. Oh man, you know, if you're just giving up after about a month of trying it, 2 months, or even a year, 2 years, man. I mean, it takes a while to get to that point to where, you know, you could do it full time. And a lot of people don't ever get there, but if you continuously do it, You'll never
100%.
know if you can get there.
And you'll appreciate it even more, because I know if I do ever
Absolutely.
get that point to get there, I'm going to appreciate it. And if I ever do have that conversation with someone and be like, yo, like, how was it? And I said, dude, it was a very, very long time, but
Yeah.
it was always worth it in the end. It was always worth
Exactly.
it.
All
You
it
know?
takes
But I
is,
also
you
love
know-
doing it.
Yeah,
know?
you do
Like you
love
said,
doing
I love
it.
doing
You're
it.
not doing this to become rich, obviously, or you would have gave up already, you know?
No, 100%. But that was also, to be fair though, that was also a part of why changing genres and going more variety, because there was a point where I was like, well, do I just keep the high numbers, keep what the fans like, keep anime permanently because that is what people want, or do I start doing something that I like more? And when I started to do things that I like, it became easier and it became more fun and it's more enjoyable for the wait versus being like, I'm only going to do this now. And I love anime. I absolutely love anime, but I also love talking about everything else, you know?
Yeah, and you're good at it, and you know a lot about it. And if you don't know a lot about it, you probably were doing your research.
Big nerd. A lot of memory from just years of just watching so much stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I
No,
might
you-
not be able to pronounce everything correctly, so be easy on me when you see my videos. In my description, the names might be incorrect, but I know what I'm trying to say, at least in my mind.
Well, you project it in your videos very well, and
Oh, you
yeah,
should see
you're-
the takes. You should
Dude,
see how
I'll
many
tell you
takes
what.
I have to take sometimes.
I was going to ask you. I was like, man, because your first videos 2 years ago that I saw, dude, you went all in on those edits. I was going to ask you, how long did it take you? Because you're putting pop-ups in there. I'm just like, dude, this dude's probably spending a couple of hours on these edits, you know, for
Yeah.
one video, and he's putting out 2 to 3.
Dude, so that goes back to like you're saying like how the environment always changes and you need to obviously watch what's trending. So when I was doing my super edited videos literally last year, and I still have them, they're literally pinned on my reels, and I love doing them. The problem I ran into was 2 things. One, it took me almost like 3 hours. So a lot of times I'd only get 1 to 2 videos out, you know, mostly 1. So then when the way, like, the trend started changing to more of that in-face person kind of video, now I'm able to get videos out every single day, 2 to 3, because I'm not sitting in front of my computer editing for 3 hours anymore. I love editing and I love filming and I love doing all those high-end videos, which again took me 3 hours. But currently right now in 2025, it's not what's trending. And I just found I was like, I got to cut the edits now. I got to cut doing all that just because there's no good outcome. Like those videos would max like maybe 3,000 views, maybe at best 10,000 views versus what I call FaceTime video, green screen video would quadruple those numbers now. So it's just going back to understanding what's trending right now and what's very like what's in 2025.
Do you post every video that you post on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, all of them? Okay.
Yeah. The only time I have different videos is maybe YouTube. YouTube doesn't like news updates as much. They like more talking discussion stuff. So if it was like an update video on, say, like Minecraft just hit like 700 mil, that wouldn't necessarily do as well. I might still post it, but certain update videos don't do as well on YouTube. So sometimes I won't post it just because YouTube is more discussion based. But that's very like super detailed. I would recommend to any creator, if you're on all social media platforms, post everywhere, because everybody is very dedicated to their own social media. Unlike influencers, we love every social media. But people that are very dedicated to Instagram are sticking on Instagram. People that are very dedicated to TikTok are sticking to TikTok and YouTube and what have you. There's not a lot of cross following. A lot of people are just dedicated to the platform that they love. So I always recommend post that video that you made everywhere.
Exactly. I tell the same the people the same thing, because there's some people that will post and blowing up on TikTok, let's say, but don't post the video on YouTube. And they're like, well, my YouTube's not doing as well. I'm like, well, are you posting the videos that you're posting over here on this platform? no, I mean, that'd be, they think it's like going to mess up things, or like it's weird to post this kind of video on YouTube. It's like, no, dude, post what's working for you everywhere. And it's going to just
100%.
all
At the end of the
equal
day,
out.
post everywhere.
Yes.
Like, besides the minor stuff that I'm talking about, there's just things that I've learned. The end rule, if you're trying to do content creation, post everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that one video, because it turns into technically 3 videos. You made one video, that just turned into 3 videos, just posted in three different areas.
Exactly. And it might take off like crazy on one platform. And
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You never know. I will literally, I've had a follower literally say, dude, I never see your Instagram ones, but I always see your YouTube, and I follow both. I'm like, all right. And vice versa.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it
Very
happens
different.
for all of us, but you got to be posting on every platform. Creators out there, aspiring creators,
100%.
post on everything.
Everything.
But
Even
yeah, man.
Facebook, people sleeping on it, but if you want to get paid and get closer to being full-time, just saying.
Facebook's paying probably the best right now.
No, 100%.
For me.
Instagram is ass.
Yeah. Dude, Instagram, no. And TikTok, I don't put out a lot of 1 minute videos, so I don't know about if you put out a lot of 1 minute.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
And that's the thing. It's like you got to have a 1 minute video to get paid on TikTok. So,
Yeah. YouTube is still king, followed by Facebook, TikTok, and then Instagram.
yeah.
Snapchat if you have it, but
I know. I need to get better
I
at
heard Snapchat
I
pays
can never
really well.
get Snapchat down.
really,
So, yeah.
I heard it pays really well.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. That is one
Everybody's
thing
telling
I'm
me
not on.
Snapchat pays the best. Oh, it pays. Oh, you're making bank on Snapchat if it goes. But I don't know.
But you know what's crazy? I doubted that when I heard Facebook. And then a year later into Facebook, I'm already at 16K. Not even a year later. 8 months later on Facebook, I'm at 16K.
Yeah.
And I'm making a lot more money on any other platform.
Dude, it took me about what, 2-3 years for Facebook to start rolling in. So, I mean, you never know. That's what I'm saying. Don't give up after a month or two or
No,
a year.
exactly.
I mean, my Facebook didn't start taking off until this past year, maybe the past 6 months.
No, literally. They might have changed their algorithm. They have a better algorithm than Instagram right now, and they just don't
Dude,
even know
they
what
do.
they're doing.
Yeah,
You know
it's
Instagram's
weird.
problem? Instagram, stop updating so much. The minute it does a major update, I know my algorithm is cooked for that day. I'm like, oh, this video is not going to do well. Doesn't matter how good it is. The minute they update that Instagram, you could just tell the analytics. It's like 99.9% followers, 1% actual feed.
You don't want to see that.
No, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, because it's not going to go to a majority amount of followers. It's just going to go to a few of your following, like
Like a quarter of them, not
Yeah.
even.
yeah. So let's say you have 40,000 followers. It's going to be shown to what, 4,000 of them, maybe?
Yeah,
So-
that 4,000 was nice.
Okay, even less. So yeah, that's how it is for me. So it's like,
Yeah, it's
dude,
very
come
weird.
on, figure it out, man. Because it's like they have it figured out at some point, and it's like, oh shit, this is doing
do.
well. And then,
do.
like you said, some update or some kind of little flip in the algorithm, and that's all it takes to just kind of ruin your channel for a little bit.
100%. But you know what's weird though is like all platforms are weird right now. Ever since the not ban of TikTok, my views went up like crazy. I can't get followers for anything.
Yeah, it's either views go up, followers go down, followers go out, viewers go down, revenue goes up or down, and views go up. It's all weird, man.
TikTok makes no sense ever since the ban. Like I don't know what's going on with TikTok, so I'm pushing the other platforms. I'm still posting on TikTok.
Yeah, you got to
but
still post.
I look at it. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this app. I have no idea.
We're all there. I don't know. We still don't know, but we think we know. But we know when
You're
our
not
video
alone.
is going to do bad. I'd tell you that. I do know when a video is going to do bad. I just have a feeling. It's like a gut feeling at this point.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I know, but I'm going to post it. But I know.
Oh,
it's gonna
100%.
tank.
100%. I just sometimes just throw something in the wind. Like I literally posted something about Last of Us. I posted about the recent episode of Last of Us 2. I've never talked about Last of Us, and I was like, I'm just going to throw that out. I think it's only sitting at like 1,000+ views at best right now.
Yeah.
And then I talked about the Minecraft, and it's already at like 3,000 views. It'll probably get to like 10K by tomorrow. So I was like, okay, that is what it is.
It's crazy, man. It's insane.
But you do it because you love it, and you
Exactly.
want to post something because you like doing it. And I'll always post no matter what because, like you never know what's going to do well. You never know what is not. Just
Exactly.
post.
Exactly.
If you're afraid of, if you're trying to be a creator and you're afraid of posting, your first rule, just post. I don't care what it is, just post. You actually, going back to the Arnold ADD moment, I remember you saying this to me, and it was so true. We were sitting at a bar. which, by the way, all of you should be jealous. Me and Logan shared shots while we watched an MMA fight. We had a great time. He literally turns to me. He puts his arm over me, and he says, you know what's really great sometimes, and this is my greatest advice, is sometimes you just got to throw shit out there. And if it sticks, it sticks.
Yeah.
And that was it. And he took another shot.
that was my philosophy at first, and it still works. I mean, it's just like, hey, you got to throw
Still
stuff
works.
out there. It's like fishing, man.
Yeah.
You just got to throw it out there. I mean, if it
catches
catches something, it does. If it catches views, it catches views. But throw it out there. You never know.
Absolutely.
So you threw
Absolutely.
that Snow White shit out there, and it took off. So
Yep. And then 2 weeks later, Shrek.
there you go. Most banging videos that you've had in the past, month or two?
Pretty much. I actually now I'm going viral again for talking about Marvel Rivals because they're doing a swimsuit edition of the character skins for Marvel Rivals, which, by the way, if you saw the video, I'm very excited about the swimsuits. I'm not a gooner, but I'm very excited about the swimsuits. But the fact that people think I'm not excited for it, I'm absolutely excited for it. But Marvel Rivals has to chill on the brakes with the fan service of some of those Marvel X-Men women. They got to chill a little bit.
I have to check that out.
You got to check it out.
Uh-oh.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. It's going to be awesome. But, like, I'm like, God damn. They're a little straight up, like, this should be in the adult section of Steam. They're getting on that, like, borderline.
This is gaming after dark. I hear, man.
Literally, gaming after dark. I'm like, God, Marvel Rivals, you going to put, like, I don't know, like, She-Hulk in a freaking G-string? Jesus.
That's crazy, man. Better be caked up, though.
Oh, dude, that's the thing. They all are. Have you seen any of the Marvel Rivals skin characters?
Dude, I've seen a few, but not in the swimsuits.
So the swimsuits is coming out later. But currently, some of the alternate skins, dude, they all have cheeks. All of them. They're just so defined. I'm like, what is going on?
Hey, they're catering.
Like, they know who their audience
hey,
is.
yeah, they're catering, man. That's fan service right there.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not mad about it. I play the game
Yeah.
for the game.
Talking about fan service, though. Dragon Ball Daima. Let's get into it.
Oh, let's talk anime. Let's do it.
Let's talk Dragon Ball Daima because I've been wanting to talk about this with you. Your overall thoughts about it. What did you think about the animation? What did you think about the transformations? How did you like the ending?
Okay. I ain't going to lie. When I first watched the first few episodes, I was not about it.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, are we doing GT 2.0? Like, what is going on? Is this literally just, I'm not going to see these guys as adults at all. I don't know what's going to happen. And I actually took a break. So, like, the first 3 episodes after that, I was like, I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
So I waited, I think, till, like, Vegeta went SSJ3.
Okay.
When that got leaked, I was like, okay, let me catch up. Let's see how it is. And sometimes I might have to recommend maybe just wait on an anime and just like kind of like sit and watch the whole thing as one. That might have been a better experience. So then I catch up and I was like, okay, this is honestly giving OG Dragon Ball vibes, a little bit of GT, but it's a fun adventure. You know, we got some really exciting things going on. We got some new lore with the Demon Realm, which I appreciated. They canonized some things. It was okay. But overall, it really definitely, getting to episode 8 was like, okay, nice. This is very much, you know, OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
But then SSJ3 happened, and I was like, okay, a little fan servicey, but we want to see that. That's fine, okay. And then we get into the big reveal later on, near the season finale, and we get SSJ4. I absolutely loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. The one thing I didn't really like is how he, like, closer to the ending, but I'll get into that. I didn't mind the monkey hands. I know everyone was, like, pressed over the big forearms. It didn't bother me because I like the fact that SSJ4, okay, I'm a nerd out here. SSJ4, if you don't know, is a hybrid of their ape form. With their ape form, because Saiyans are known to be partially ape, I love the fact that they fused a look of an ape with a Saiyan. So the fact that they did bigger forearms and made him look more ape-like and move like an ape, I thought that was a great, a great detail in just getting back into the original like idea of the Saiyan and the Saiyan being an ape. Yeah. Because old SSJ4 from GT, which is great,
love it.
Besides the tail, it doesn't have those hints of ape, because if he is unlocking the power of the ape, which is a very powerful being, he should also look a little bit more like an ape. And I always thought that. So the fact that they integrated that with how Daima was, I thought was brilliant. The final episode, though, how they explained how he got SSJ4 was like, oh, I always had it the entire time. I just needed to be unlocked. I thought that was a cop-out, and I was like, okay. Well.
That was weird, huh?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay.
That didn't even make sense. But it was like, I hate when shows have like a limit of episodes because it's always rushed at the end when it doesn't need to be rushed.
Yeah.
And that was 100%. Definitely just a rushed, like,
last episode.
I trained hard, after Majin Buu, and I got that form, and I was surprised.
Like, no, nothing.
It's like, no, hold on. Why did Neva, right?
Neba, why did he have the old Namekian?
Why did he have to like do something to unlock his?
We just gave him a spiritual touch. He was like, boom.
Yeah, I don't know.
There you go.
At first, we were thinking like maybe it was brought on by magic. I don't know, but
dude, all my theories went to fucking shit. I literally was hoping that last episode they were going to do a fusion. I wanted a fusion that would have explained how maybe Vegeta would have gotten SSJ4. Like, I definitely, like, don't get me wrong. Us Dragon Ball fans, we definitely over-theorize a little bit. And, like, I can understand maybe being a little bit more simple. But it would have been so easy if they just did a fusion for a little bit. Yes. Because that battle only lasted 5 minutes. Great battle. But it only lasted like 5 minutes the episode. I didn't need the rest of the hubbub of them going back to dealing with the bugs or whatever. Don't even get me started on the bug situation.
No, for real. We'll get to that, though.
I swear. I had people fighting in my comments. I had to rewatch it. I don't remember Goku dropping the bag of bugs. But what kills me...
Oh, you don't remember that?
I don't remember it.
Okay.
But what kills me regardless is how you write a story is if you are foreshadowing using the bugs, not once, not twice, 3 different times in your series, you foreshadow the bugs about to be a big event and then you toss them away. Personally, that felt like really bad story writing in that arc.
Weird.
Because they highlighted it so many times that the bugs were going to be something. We thought we were going to see a fusion. It would be one thing if it was like a one-off, like, oh, we're just going to talk about it like one time and not bring it up again. But they brought up the bag of bugs 3 separate times in that series to then near the end just be like, oh, we'll deal with it maybe in Super.
No. Yeah.
Really?
It's really like bringing Dragon Balls in the show and never summoning Shinron,
Yeah. Or waiting till like season 2, possibly season 2. For us to wait for Shenron, like you foreshadowed it.
Oh, do you think
and
there'll
you did nothing with the bugs?
Do you think there'll be a season 2?
Huh?
Possibly.
I don't know.
Dragon Ball Daima.
There's a rumor going on. There's a big rumor going on. I don't know if this has any much weight. It might have been like one of those like fake rumors, but that they might, besides the manga, when it comes to the anime, they might discontinue Super and write their entire new story following Daima, because there might be some legal problems with the Moro arc. I got to look more into it. But there's this weird rumor going around that besides the manga, which they could continue, when it comes to the anime, one of the biggest reasons they can't do the Moro arc or continue the anime is some weird legal reason. I don't know why. And they might just scrap Super for the animated version and restart off of Daima.
Would that frustrate you as a fan?
I don't know.
Are you a Dragon Ball Super guy? Like, did you really
manga?
Care about
Yes. It? Anime, only the movies and up to the Goku Black arc. Well, Tournament of Power, of course, but like
I like parts of Tournament of Power. I like parts of Black, but I definitely like the movies. I like the Broly movie was amazing. But Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion, for me as a whole, I could do away with it. It's not really my Dragon Ball Z story. Like 100%. I wouldn't. I don't know. It's its own thing.
Like if you give me Dragon Ball Daima animation for a new version of Super, I don't think I would be that mad.
Nah, I wouldn't. But a lot of people would because they kind of some people grew up watching Super, so it's like that's their Dragon Ball. So it's like.
I would also like to see the Moro arc. I don't know if you're caught up in the manga. The Moro arc is pretty sweet.
No, I think that'd be amazing for Super to animate that because that's sick. That they actually did it right. But are we going to get that animated?
I don't think so.
It's crazy.
If the rumor is true, I wouldn't be mad about it. I think I would be mad. I'd be like, okay, let's see where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Because at least I like reading the manga, so I could read the manga.
Yeah. I'm not too much of a reader, but I mean, I'm caught up with all that. I like the look of Moro. That was a very cool looking character, very cool villain. I like his powers. Great. He can eat planets and stuff. And it was a good fight. And we 100%. See Ultra Instinct again, where it's like, dude, why couldn't we get that in a new movie?
I know.
Or something, I really like Ultra Instinct, but I don't know. They just didn't really want to show it much more, in the anime version.
No. It's weird being a Dragon Ball fan and where One Piece.
It is frustrating being a Dragon Ball fan, man.
Toei loves One Piece. They don't love Dragon Ball. They only like to act like they like Dragon Ball, but they love One Piece.
They do love One Piece. Yeah.
And I like One Piece, but I'm just like, come on, give me more Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Give us more. But Dragon Ball's making money for them too. I mean, I think it did very well.
It is.
Dragon Ball Daima did very well.
One Piece is like the new generation's anime right now. Like a lot of the kids, a lot of like people that are obviously younger than us, they love One Piece. And it's weird because it started when we were kids, but people love One Piece and getting into One Piece right now.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I mean, it's great. It's fun. It's a great adventure. Luffy's a great character. I just don't know why. I don't know why. People just are really on the One Piece hype right now.
What did you think about the last episode of Invincible, or even the last season?
Peak cinema. Beautiful. Anyone that, if you're an anime fan and like you love anime and you love violence and you're not watching Invincible, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, that story is amazing. They're doing such a good job, and just the fights alone are just so good. Yeah. Like, Conquest episode was so awesome.
Dude, it's crazy. We watched it the other night. I don't know if you've heard it like on good headphones or like nice sound system, but it's just, like you said, theater. Oh, it's heavy too, and they're fast as fuck, man. I wish like Dragon Ball Z or like any like it would be like that.
Absolutely.
Just powerful, bloody. Oh, it's amazing.
Dude, and Jeffrey D. Morgan as Conquest, dude, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think's going to voice Thrag?
I'm going to forget the poor actor's name, but I originally thought I wanted it to be John Berthenthal, who plays Punisher. I would love him to do it, but do you remember the show Sons of Anarchy?
I do, but I didn't watch it, man, so I wouldn't know any.
You caught up on The Walking Dead, or at least know enough of The Walking Dead?
The latest?
Not latest, like 2 years ago.
2 years? No. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, I'm trying to remember the poor actor's name, but there's an actor from Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead who. Oh, wait. Do you know the video game Ragnarok? It's Ragnarok, the God of War, Ragnarok.
God of War, Ragnarok.
Yes.
Thor. He voiced Thor?
Yes.
Okay.
He voiced Thor.
That's what a lot of people want.
If he could voice... Yes, that's what I want to voice Thrag.
Okay. That'd be perfect.
Thrag would be so badass.
Yeah.
Invincible's good.
I didn't learn about Thrag until like a few weeks ago. And
dude,
I thought Omni-Man was OP or like one of the strongest. And it's like, oh no, not even close.
Not even close.
Hurt my heart.
Not even close.
I was like, man.
It goes Alan the Alien, Beast, whatever, and then Thrag. And then Thrag.
Yeah.
Battle Beast and then Thrag.
And
there's going to be, I don't know if it'll happen in season 4, but Thrag and Battle Beast go head to head.
That's a crazy battle. I've been seeing it. And Thrag ends up wearing Battle Beast as what do you call those things?
Literally, Battle Beast would have won, but he purposely injured himself because he thought the fight was too easy.
Okay, I saw that today in a comment saying somebody said like, yeah, but Battle Beast kind of gave it to him or gave up or something like that. It's like, did
Battle
he really?
Beast rips his own guts out because he's like, this battle's taking too long. I need this to be harder. And essentially bleeds himself out to make himself weaker and then gets defeated by Thrag.
Well, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, because Battle Beast is a psychopath.
Yeah, he'll fight anybody, right?
Yeah, and he essentially was like the best battle he's ever had, and he doesn't care if he dies or wins. This is like what he's craved his entire life, and that's why he like was like, nah, I don't care. I'm gonna like make this battle even better and like go like half hurt, half hit, and just like hurt himself.
Yeah, I've just been seeing like TikToks like highlighting it and stuff and saying that they threw hands for like 3 days. So, and they're like, if they animate this battle, it's got to be like 4 or 5 episodes or something.
Oh, absolutely. The only negative thing I would say about Invincible is I want them to give the full budget for all the episodes, except besides the last 2. As you could tell, if you watch it, the last 2 episodes are definitely way better animated than the rest of the season.
They cranked
Give
it up.
the full budget.
Yeah, for real,
Full
man.
budget.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Full budget.
Yeah.
Don't give me the Dragon Ball Super from freaking like, when it first came out.
No,
versus
no,
the
no.
actual arc. Don't do that to me.
Don't do it. But yeah, man, yeah, that last episode was insane.
Okay, who do you think would win though? So if you picked Thrag, Goku, or Superman.
Ooh. I'm going Goku all day.
Well, I figured.
But if you I still think like you would have to put each individual in their own shows because Thrag isn't blasting anybody. Thrag can't, instant transmission teleport type, unless you know something I don't about his powers. But I just don't think they would compete with, the blast, the energy blast, the power that Goku has,
If we're going Zeno Goku all the way.
Yeah.
If we're going Goku currently in the manga, Superman's going to win only because he's planetary destruction to where Goku's only god destruction. Thrag has no chance. Thrag's going to lose to either of them.
Thrag, yeah, you can push away Thrag, but he's very powerful, but he doesn't have the same powers, He's just brute strength and speed.
If it was Alan the Alien, because his hack is stupid. His hack is if he survives near death, he becomes more powerful than the opponent that he almost died to. So if technically he fights Goku and Goku beats him to near death, then Alan the Alien gets reborn and is as powerful or more powerful as Goku, which is a crazy freaking hack.
Well, that's not fair. Well, there you go.
Crazy hack.
I don't know about the Superman thing. I'm not too knowledgeable about all of Superman's powers, but I'm really talking about Goku versus Thrag. He definitely Goku beats him.
Wins.
But Superman versus
wins.
Goku, this is the huge question, for all of, anime or, comic book anime nerds or Dragon Ball nerds. Who wins? But I don't know. It's always
my heart always wants to say Goku. My heart always
yeah.
wants to say Goku. After rereading some of the comics and catching up on everything, just because the Superman movie is going to come out for James Gunn's, I always like to just try to do a little bit more research, especially on things that are coming out. I've always been a Superman fan, but after rereading a lot of things, it just kind of comes down to planetary versus God. Like Superman's on a planetary level. Superman could fly through Earth if he decided to and completely destroy the planet. Goku has not single-handedly blown up a planet by himself. I know he technically did it with Frieza, but it was with Frieza's help as well, and also Frieza was already blowing up that planet. Like, it was already mid-destruction. It was already mid-destruction.
Can Goku blow up a planet? Yes, though.
Can he?
I mean, Vegeta blew up planets, right when he was seen in the very first, few episodes of being seen, he was blowing up Arlia.
Didn't he have help with the other Saiyans, though?
No.
Because I thought that was always, confirmed that it was, some sort of weapon they used to blow up the planets.
No,
or was it their power?
Shot a blast at Arlia and then blew up
That's
the
true.
planet. I don't know if you remember that Arlia episode when he's a different color. He had the red
Yeah.
hair.
Oh, shit. Yes, you're right.
Back then, he blew up that planet. So it's like, I don't know if it's a small planet, wasn't, explained, but...
Okay, let me take it a different route then. Superman's only weakness is kryptonite. They're just going to duke it out forever. But again, Goku's biggest strength is that he becomes more powerful during the battle. That is a Saiyan
Superman
thing. They
can't
become stronger.
be like, you can't punch a hole through him or anything like that, no matter how strong.
No, he can't. Unless for some reason Bulma came in and was like, "Yo, kryptonite's gonna work," and then yeah, he wins. Then Goku wins.
Yeah.
That's. I still want to say Superman, but I also want to say Goku. That's actually really hard. I don't know what to say.
It's a hard one.
It's a really hard one. It's like I know what that YouTube channel like did it like 3 times and Superman like won every single time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my heart says Goku.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. I just don't know much.
Reality, they probably would never fight though.
No, I mean, they're both, for the same thing, saving the planet, right?
Goku would be like, "Yo, I want to fight you so bad," and Superman would be like, "Why? You didn't do anything."
Yeah.
Like, "Yeah, but I just want to battle you. It'd be so cool." And Superman like, "But why?" I don't understand.
Yes. But
Like, why do you want to fight me?
The thing is, Superman can go into space and fly through, the universe, and Goku can't.
No, that's true. But even Ultra, well, that's the problem too. Is with the freaking manga, we're still waiting and trying to figure it out and what's going on, and then like we really don't know what the cap is for Goku. But again, I would say his strongest trait is that during a battle, and Vegeta has said this, you become more powerful. Saiyans become more powerful during a battle.
Right. So Superman can stop energy blast, and all that, you think, and spirit bombs and
yeah.
Spirit
Bomb, I don't know. Spirit Bomb's pretty powerful.
Okay, Goku versus Superman. Okay, mostly Superman on paper, and pretty much
I would say on paper.
Yeah.
And then, oh God,
but who is the better martial artist?
Oh, then Goku, 100%.
Goku, 100%. Yeah, that's the question that nobody asks. Who is the better martial artist?
100%. Because that's his base. That's what he learned was martial arts. He learned basic fighting techniques before anything else. He was never, the powers didn't come until later. Where you can make the argument that Superman was born with the powers, and so inherently he is, powerful by default, to where Goku had to learn his power. Yeah. So I guess you can make the argument that yes, Goku would win off of experience.
Yeah.
Like not that they don't both have experiences, they do, but like Goku has more fighting techniques or more fighting styles.
Yeah, if it was just straight up martial arts, who's winning? Take all powers out of it, It's Goku. Yeah.
Because Superman doesn't know any mixed martial arts. He doesn't know MMA. He doesn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. He's not throwing like spinning back kicks and stuff like that, right? And elbows, and he's just pretty much straight punches. And does he even throw kicks?
I feel like he does.
Does Superman ever throw a kick?
I don't know. Why am I blanking? Does he throw kicks? What a weird Google thing to ask.
Yeah. Has Superman ever thrown a kick at an opponent? I've only seen him punch.
Bro, there's actually an answer. While the most famous moves with Superman are associated with actually punching, Superman does not typically throw kicks.
Whoa!
The Superman punch is technique where a fighter feats a kick, then quickly closes the distance with a powerful punch. This is so Superman is like more boxing than kickboxing.
More boxing. I knew it, man. Yeah. I had a feeling. I was like, man, you know what? This is a good question, guys. Who's the better martial artist? Goku versus Superman? Goku all day.
It's going to be Goku. Yeah. Goku just knows more martial arts. Superman only knows boxing.
Crazy. Hey, we figured out something,
Yeah, we figured out something.
To have Goku win.
Yeah, I have Goku win. Yeah. Look, my bias in me will always say Goku wins, but I'm also just trying to be realistic.
I think so. Just, I don't know. As a Dragon Ball Z fan and knowing what Goku goes through, he's not going to give up.
No, 100%. 100%. He's going to keep pushing through, and that's what will probably be why he would win. Just because, again, a Saiyan becomes more powerful during the fight.
Yeah. Whis versus Superman. I mean, most likely Whis, huh?
Probably
he can do anything.
We don't even know the measurement of Whis' power, but we know it's stupid.
Yeah. It's
You ever see the meme or like the thing where it's like Whis knew Broly was coming. He just moved out of the way. Or like knew Goku was coming, like from the Broly movie.
Yeah.
You ever see that meme?
Yeah, he just whoop.
We're like, oh, I knew you were there. Like he predicted it like 5 minutes ahead.
Give me your top 5 favorite animes.
Oh man, that's such a hard question. You know that. I'm not even gonna try to think about it. I'm just gonna give
Like if you had only 5 left to watch for the rest of your life, what are you choosing?
Okay, let me think. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. I think. Let's do Code Geass. Code Geass is a phenomenal anime. I highly recommend that. It is a mech anime. Yeah. It's only like for 2 seasons. I think it's only like 100 episodes. Okay. There's a few movies, and there's like a new series that came out, but ignore that series. But Code Geass is really good. I'm gonna have to go with Vinland Saga. I'm also manga biased about that because I've read the story. Yeah. A lot of people kind of fall off after season 2 because it's a little bit slower, but I absolutely love Vinland Saga. I think it's a beautiful story through and through. And if you're someone that is sleeping on Vinland Saga, wait till season 3 or read the manga. It's great. Then I'll go Black Clover. Me and my wife really we really love Black Clover. It was something we just kind of like also really loved watching together, and we watched it like 3 times. Yeah. And Black Clover is one of those animes that I love that really does good representation when it comes to female characters. A lot of their females aren't super fan servicey, and they all have really deep stories, which not a lot of shonen anime do for their women. So like I really like the women that are in Black Clover just because you don't see that representation a lot. The top 2 are going to be really hard. I think I might have to do One Piece, and then I'm going to do Dragon Ball. I think One Piece number 2, and then Dragon Ball number 1.
I was going to say, it's got to be One Piece.
No, Dragon Ball is definitely going to be number 1. If you didn't know that was coming, then come on. But I think One Piece is going to be number 2.
You a fan of Berserk?
I love Berserk, but there's not been a good version of Berserk since the 97 one.
So that is why it doesn't make your top 5?
Yeah, just because I want I want the full thing adapted, and I want maybe... I even made a video about this. Like, I want like a new studio to just pick it. I want Mappa to pick it up. Mappa that does JJK, that does Chainsaw Man. I want them to pick it up, and I just want them to go no censor. I want it as dark as it is in the manga. That's what I want. I need an 18 plus restriction on that thing.
That'd be amazing. Yep.
I can tell you my other favorite animes that are like super not top 5, but like just maybe my chill. I just want something in the background. Baki's in there.
Okay. Baki does make just what you like.
Yeah, I like Baki. Baki's chill.
Baki's awesome. I wouldn't say it's like a top anime though. It's just a really niche anime. I mean,
it's just fun.
I wouldn't say it's for all audiences, you know?
No. It's in my fun category. If I'm like just turning my TV on and I just want it in the background, Baki, Record of Ragnarok. I do really recommend that. Mashal, Magic and Muscles. Okay. Fantastic anime. Shangri-La Frontier. And Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is great.
Okay. So yeah, that's the one that everybody wants me to watch. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's good. I understand why people like it. I'm not trying to say negative things about it. But me, I'm so picky. I don't
if it helps, I didn't like it in season 1. I didn't like it in season 1. Characters. Like I was like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
Season 2 is better.
The first 2 episodes, I know I need to watch more. I just don't like whiny characters. You know, I don't know. And I'm not talking about whiny, but he was just like, I don't like weak characters, I guess, at first. And I know he's not weak, towards the end, but yeah. It just starts off like, I don't want to go through this.
I felt the same way. Like I 100% felt the same way. I was like, okay, this is a fine anime. And then I read the manhwa, and then I watched season 2, and I was like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah. I'll give it more of a chance because a lot of people like it.
Definitely, if you only did 2 episodes, you got to keep going a little bit longer.
Yeah.
A little bit longer. I give it
looks
till
good.
episode 6. Maybe episode 6. If you're not into it after episode 6, it might not be for you.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good and everything. I understand why people like it. Interesting. And it has a different concept than other animes, I would say.
It's like a hybrid. So I think like there's different subgenres like the shonen, Saiyan, isekai. They're all like break down in different categories. It's like a hybrid of a shonen and an isekai. Isekais, they tend to be animes that are people in other worlds, or they get reborn, and they turn into a different character. Solo leveling is like a hybrid of that. An example of an isekai is Sword Art Online, or Shield Hero. Those are where our main character passed away in one life and got reborn into another one and is living that new reborn life. That's usually what an isekai is.
Gotcha.
I know,
Do you
nerding
like
out.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
I love Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Dude, the live action on Netflix actually wasn't bad.
I didn't watch it, but it looked okay.
It was not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. The fight choreography in that was great.
What did they get to? Like, what arc did they get to?
I think like 10 episodes, or like maybe like barely the first arc.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I think they got renewed for a season 2. I hope they do. They definitely gave the quality of the One Piece live action. The One Piece live action is way better, but the Yu Yu Hakusho one is pretty decent, and not a lot of anime live actions are good, and this one's pretty decent.
yeah. Yeah, it didn't look bad. I mean, I wish they did that for a lot more shows. I mean, it's very touchy with a lot of fans out there. It's very risky to do it, but a lot of people want that Baki live action, but I don't know. I don't know if you could just do that, man. The characters are too jacked. And it's just such a wild show.
They're too jacked. Because you know what would happen? It would happen what's going on with Last of Us right now. So Last of Us 2, you have the main character, Abby, who in the game, she's buff. She's an ex-military. She's huge. In The Last of Us 2, she's like, 75 pounds soaking wet at best. She's super tiny. Acting is fantastic, and she does
The main character, right? The main girl.
not the main character, her too, but like
Okay.
for season 2, the main villain in season 2, her name's Abby, ex-military. In the video game, she's really muscular. I don't know why I said muscular.
Muscly.
New word. Muscular. And so in season 2, which is going on right now, a lot of people are complaining of like how small she is, which she is. And so I feel like, that is what would happen with Baki which there's something to say of acting versus obviously, what you look like, because, if you could act, you're going to pick the person that could act versus the person that looks like, a 1-for-1 of the character. Because
Yeah.
face-wise, she looks like the character. Body-wise, absolutely not.
Okay.
But her acting's great. So, Baki, I mean, obviously besides yourself, who are you going to find is, like with every character?
Yeah.
Maybe besides you and the guy that also cosplays Baki, who else are you going to find?
Baki or Chef Rush. Chef Rush is Biscuit Oliver.
That's
so,
true. Okay, Chef could do it. But what, 3 characters in a show?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You get like all the bodybuilders at that point.
Then it'd
but then
just
you
be
put them all
bad.
next to each other and you see each other's heights. All y'all are going to be a little off on heights.
Yeah, it is. It's just gonna be hard, man. And the acting where it comes in, buff, good actors, hard to come by. So,
Absolutely. Because they usually tend to play the Dwayne Johnson or like the
Yeah.
low lines or like I'm not going to say Jason Momoa. He's got a little bit more flair to his acting than
yeah, true.
Dwayne Johnson. Sorry, Rock.
But yeah, it'd be hard, man. But that the little girl main character in Last
Yes.
of Us, getting
Yes.
a lot of flack, huh?
She is. I
What do you think?
have
What do
mixed
you-
feelings about it.
Yeah, what is your thoughts
I
about
feel,
it?
feel like sometimes the internet takes it too far, and I think they're taking it way too far. Just
Okay,
I don't know. There's definitely some.
so it's doable.
Her acting is great. If you could act and you could do the role, I think her acting's great, and I could understand where people are getting frustrated with the sense of like certain facial expressions and just how she looks, because there was other actors that might have been able to play her. But
Yeah,
I look at it this way, and I thought the same thing with the Harry Potter casting with HBO and a bunch of other things. And I really hope most studios do this, and I think they do. I would love to hope so. But I hope when it comes to casting is they genuinely pick the person they really do think out of everyone that auditioned fit the role and was qualified the most for the role on an acting acting portion, because you want that person to be able to act, because you could have easily a cosplayer or a one-for-one lookalike that looks exactly like the character, but if they cannot act, then you have a dead show and you have a dead movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much they like look like the character. Like it'll go nowhere. It'll take forever. So, I hope when it comes to any of these projects, even when, they swap certain characters for other types of characters that look nothing like that main character, they're just going by off the basis of easily pure talent and just what they bring to the table. So that's what I hope the best. And I think she's doing a good job.
Right. Good. I mean, because let's say the video game wasn't a video game and this was just a show. You wouldn't know the difference. People wouldn't say anything.
You just take her as she is.
Yeah, and it'd be a great show, right?
Yeah. You take her who she is. Yeah, 100%. It'd be a great show. Some people just get a little too nitpicky with certain things.
Yeah. Which is understandable, but like you said, I mean, you got to be a good actor too.
100%. But honestly, it's also some of these studios' faults, if we're being honest, because if they keep doing it so much to effect of, I'm just going to use Disney, for example. Disney, I love you. But if you're doing it for every one of your films, every one of your live actions, you're going to start getting people, like, for example, Fantastic Four recently, everyone was getting on the Silver Surfer of being a woman. And I can understand where people's frustrations are, because Disney is very notorious lately in their Marvel and Disney stuff for either race swapping or, whitewashing or blackwashing their characters. They've done it so much that when a character that is actually comically accurate and correct in the Fantastic Four, which, if you didn't know, the Silver Surfer is also a woman and she's a very awesome badass and she's in the comics, the minute it's actually correct in the comics, people are so used to what the studios have been doing the last few years that they freak out immediately. They're just like, oh my God, they're, just changing the male Silver Surfer for a woman. Why are they doing this again? But I'm like, yo, hold your horses. This is actually comic accurate. You guys are just freaking out because, X, Y, and Z has happened in the past. So, I part of me is like Disney and these other studios. I'm like, you guys have to, I understand representation and we need representation, but you also have to, not do it all the time and make it so obvious, if that makes sense.
Right. Blake, is there something that no one knows about you that you're interested in that we just don't know, that you haven't talked about yet?
What do I like? I like a lot of things. Maybe I don't talk about this enough. I'm a big horror fan. I love horror films.
Love it too.
I love it, man. I love Alien, dude. I'm a big Alien fan. Love all of them. I literally have the Alien Funkos right over there in the corner.
You should talk. You should talk Alien, man.
Dude, I have, but you know what? It just doesn't. I've done a few videos like very
it's
small.
Not trending.
It's just not trending. But they are coming out with Alien Earth, which is going to be on Hulu, and I'm so excited because I probably will talk about it because I'm hoping it'll be trending. I think it will be.
Yeah.
But it should be coming out. I think it got pushed back. It was supposed to come out next month. I think it's going to come out in June or July now. But it is a prequel series to Prometheus, which Prometheus is the first Alien film, but it's before Prometheus. So the new timeline, if any of you Alien nerds want to know, goes Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Alien Romulus, Aliens. Alien 3 is not canon anymore, and Alien Resurrection is not canon anymore. Alien Earth is going to be apparently starting point number 1, and it's going to go from there. And they also confirmed a sequel for Alien Romulus, so that should be in between Alien. So it should be Alien Romulus and then Alien timeline-wise. Yeah, big Alien fan.
That's awesome to know. Anything else?
Oh, let's see. I have a weird obsession with charcuterie boards. I love cheese, meat, and bread. You give me a good charcuterie board, I will buy it every single time.
Yeah.
I love cheese. I have been known to maybe finish a block of cheese by itself sometimes, mostly with crackers. So that's a weird obsession. Also kind of really helps when I like charcuterie boards and I'm watching a show or a movie. It just sits really well. Big obsession with Funko Pops. I collect too many. Big obsession with hoarding a lot of stuff. I just love collecting everything.
Yeah.
Obsession with tattoos. That's probably not a good one though. I want more tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you plan on getting? Like what if you could get anything right now, what are you going to get?
So I actually should have planned getting Thorfinn's dagger. Thorfinn's dagger is going to probably go here. A lot of my anime tattoos are not just representing the fact that I love anime. So with Broly, this also represents like a lot of my fitness background from my bodybuilding time, powerlifting, and strongman. Because going back to what we talked about, I absolutely love listening to music videos and inspirational like videos on Dragon Ball when I PR'd. So Broly, also because I love Dragon Ball, also means my my fitness journey and what I've gone through fitness. And I still work out today, and I still work out, and I do strongman, and I love all that stuff. So that represents a lot of my fitness and my journey. I have Asta. I have Asta right here, and this represents me and my wife and my love for anime together. And then I got JJK, which I absolutely love JJK. But I'm going to get Thorfinn's sword because that's going to represent our trip to Iceland, which we did for our honeymoon in December.
Oh, wow.
So I love Vinland Saga, and I love Iceland. I got to see Leif Erikson, the giant statue in Iceland, in Reykjavik, and it was awesome. So I'm going to get Thorfinn's statue. So all my tattoos have some sort of another meaning besides just anime.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that. That's very cool. And that's if I ever got any tattoos. I had one, and I'm getting it removed. But if I got tattoos, it would be like for meanings other than just the character, just like that. So,
And I think a lot of people
cool.
feel that way as well. Like I know I've talked to other people that have had anime tattoos, and they usually have a deeper meaning with them as well, like childhood and like what maybe like say Naruto. Naruto was always a popular tattoo. I would say with Sasuke, they represented themselves or felt that their journey was very similar to Sasuke, almost feeling like the outcast, and they wanted to get a tattoo of Sasuke. So I've run into a lot of anime fans that, anime, just because you see anime tattoos, guys, doesn't mean it's just because they love anime that much. There might be a deeper meaning. Or if they just do too, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't judge anyone for whatever tattoo they get.
Yeah. You've met a lot of voice actors. You've interviewed a lot of people. Who has been like your favorite people to interview so far, or like a voice actor that you've always wanted to meet? Tell us about those stories of interviewing people at these conventions. Because you've even interviewed Sam Sulek, So,
dude, I did.
How did that
go? Dude, I got a good. Did I tell you that story?
I haven't talked to you since,
how I did that.
No, I haven't talked to you since you did that, and I wanted to talk to you about it, like because you asked them some anime stuff, and you had posted a video which disappeared all this. I don't know if you reposted it, but you had posted that interview that you did. You asked him about Broly and stuff, and I was watching it, and I didn't get to finish all of it, and then I went back to your page and it was gone. I don't know what happened.
It should still be there.
I don't know what happened.
If it's not on TikTok for some weird reason, it's definitely on Instagram. I even reposted it one time, I think like a year later. But if you did not see the video, if you don't know what video we're talking about, I did get the opportunity to interview Sam Sulek. This was during the time where Sam Sulek was becoming very popular, and it was his first appearance at the Arnold show. It was his first ever appearance after getting super viral. He's still viral at the Arnold. And I've always watched his videos, of course, just, still into the fitness world. And I just always knew he was an anime fan because he always talked about it in his videos. And I was going to the Arnold. I go to the Arnold almost like every year. This was the year I wasn't able to go this year, but I go to the Arnold every year. I love that convention. It's a fantastic convention. I've been going way before I even got into social media. And I knew Sam was there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to bring my camera. I'm going to see if I could get an interview with Sam. I had no special privileges or anything. All I ended up doing was I was like, you know what? Let me just buy an autograph. And if I go there, I could just ask him, I'd be like, hey, I don't want an autograph. I really just want to do an interview real quick, if that would be okay. That was my thought process. So I paid $30 to get an autograph from Sam. And it's like Friday at the convention. And I'm with my buddy Scotty. He's literally my best friend. And I was like, dude, I don't know if they're going to let me record. So, like, we have to, like, hide this shit and, like, figure it out. And they said, okay, just give it to me. So I turned the camera on. We're already waiting in, like, close to, like a 20-minute line. I turned the camera on. I have the mic on. I have everything on. I have the mic in my my pocket. My buddy has the camera on the side. They didn't say anything about not filming, but it was just one of those situations where we weren't sure what they were going to say, and I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. And no one said anything, but we just kind of hit everything. And so the minute we got up to Sam, I said, "Hey, Sam, so good to meet you. I didn't want an autograph. I was actually wondering if you would answer one question for me for an interview real quick." And of course he said yes. He said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I said so anytime I do an interview, I always say what the question is first. If for some reason you're somewhere out there that wants to do interview content, always ask permission and always tell the person what question you're going to ask first. It makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And also it just is polite. Because I never understood the random interviews that people do where they're just like, "Oh my God, can you answer this random question real fast out of nowhere, out of the blue?"
I'm going to just say I hate it. If you see me at a convention, don't do that to me, but people do.
Don't do it.
And I can't
don't do
stand
it. I have never done that. Ever. And I don't like anyone that does it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do interview content, always ask them first, "Hey, is it okay I interview you? If I am, this is the question I'm going to ask." So that's what I told him. I said, "Hey, Sam, I want to ask you an anime question. It's related to maybe what your favorite anime is that gets you motivated in the gym. Would that be okay to ask?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely. No one ever asks me questions like that." And I said, "Yeah, sweet." So then we did the interview. My heart was freaking pounding because I felt like the staff were staring at me like, "This motherfucker is goddamn recording. We told no one they could fucking record. This is only an autograph line." Like I felt so much pressure, and I got it done real fast. And I thanked Sam. I shook his hand. And we left, and I literally in that convention downloaded that motherfucker, put it on my phone, edited it on my phone, posted it, and I was so proud to say that I am the very first person ever to interview Sam Sulek at a convention ever, and it happened to be an anime question as well, and that video went viral.
That is awesome, man. Well, congratulations for that. And yeah, we hadn't seen him really talk at that point. And we'll talk to like people and like interviews. We've seen him talk.
Yeah, I was the first interview ever.
Yeah, but the interview, and I was like, "Dude, oh man, Blake got a Sam Sulek interview." So that was really cool, man. So yeah, congrats on that.
Snuck right in there.
Yeah, and he seemed really cool and down to earth with it.
He loved it, dude. He was so excited. I think he was a little thrown off, which I did more interviews that day as well. I interviewed Callan Von Moger. I interviewed Lean Beef Patty. I interviewed a lot of awesome influencers in the fitness industry, and all of them were like, "Why are you asking anime questions?" I said, "Why not?" And they said, "Yeah, that's fair. We love that." And you'll understand this too, and this is why, I think some people have always this is why me and you have also connected in this level, is that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to the fitness industry. A lot of people in the fitness industry are giant weebs. A lot of us are nerds.
Yes, they are. Gym goers, even athletes now, like more MMA guys, but it's getting, to where it's motivated all of us to become jacked. So it's really cool. But any voice actors that you always wanted to meet and you got to meet them and interview them?
Who are some really cool ones? Probably Stephanie. Stephanie, who voiced Teen Gohan and obviously Kid Goku. The most down-to-earth human you'll ever meet. And
She's amazing.
The fact that I've always listened to a music video with Gohan screaming, screaming in the anime, and that Stephanie screaming is just a weird putting together. It's like, wait, that's a female and there's a female voice, and she's pumped me up to fucking lift 500 pounds. No, definitely Stephanie. She's so down to earth. She was so excited to do the interview. That was one of the very few videos that are actually on my YouTube, which the full 15-minute interview is on my YouTube. So if you do want to watch the Stephanie interview, is at New York Comic Con. And I got to interview her and talk about Daima before it was announced that she was going to be Kid Goku in Daima.
Yeah. Another one where you kind of had the first interview of her, after she was announced as the, coming back as Kid Goku. So that's amazing. Yeah. And I watched it. I was like, dude, yes, I love watching her interviews. And when you had an interview with her, I had to go check it out. So yeah, and you asked her the questions that I wanted to hear, so it was great, man.
Dude, she was awesome, and what can I say? I get slept on sometimes. I'll be there first, but I get slept on. It's okay.
And it's all gonna pay off. And dude, you're gonna get in the spotlight and more viral as you keep on continuing. Because
I'm loving the journey. And you want to know what, honestly, what it is too, though, is regardless of how long it'll take me, I have met so many cool people in my journey, including yourself, and just always just trying to be my genuine self, you know? So, like, just even, you know, being friends with you, being friends with Stephanie. Now I got her number. Like, anytime she wants to do an interview, she literally just hits me up. So, like, you just got to be your genuine self. And if you're someone that's trying to create content, you know, people can sniff out who's fake, even when it comes to creators. Like, we know. So just be yourself.
And yeah, she's definitely a real one. I'm hoping to have her on this show soon. So, and
dude, you let me know.
Yeah,
you want her number?
Absolutely.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I've met her too, and
I'll literally text her. I'll just be like,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, but I messaged with her as well. I mean, she knows me. I've met her 2 or 3 times now. So, yeah, she's awesome. And but if I can't really reach out to her, I'll be like, hey, Blake, just reach out to her for me. But
dude,
she's cool. I know she'll do it, but I'm hoping to get her on, you know, hopefully here in the next few episodes. So,
well, it's not my fault you have to live in Texas, my man. You could have just lived in Florida.
Man. I know.
It's literally the same state. I've been to Texas plenty of time. I literally see no difference in the 2 states.
Dude, it is the same. We should just join. So.
Literally, make our own United States.
You guys just have better beaches and better oceans
and theme parks. But you're getting a theme park. You're getting a Universal theme park.
Yeah, we are. Did you hear about that in Frisco?
Yeah, the kids Universal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be pretty big or not. I don't know if that's going to.
The detail will be nice. They'll do a good job.
Yeah, hopefully it.
I mean, Connor will like it.
He'll love it. Yeah. Hopefully it lives up to our expectations. So because we're going out to Universal in July, we got tickets from his mother's aunt for Christmas. And we have like a huge VIP tour and all that. I don't know.
Oh, you did it the right way.
Tell me about those, like the VIP tours at Universal. Are they good? They worth it?
Oh my God, you're gonna get to be able to see like a lot of. You're gonna get on every ride, so they'll get you on pretty much every ride that you want to get on, because you pretty much just get a straight backstage pass to that. They're gonna obviously tell you the history. I believe the VIP tour also gets like a little food section, so there'll be a break in the tour. But no, you're gonna love it. Universal does a really good job. Like, I had a great time with Disney, and they do a great job too at the end of the day when it comes to the product. And Universal, the same. They do a really good job just taking care of the customer. And if you're doing a VIP package, like, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Connor's definitely excited. He loves roller coasters.
He's such a goober. I love him in your videos. Yeah. He's such a kid.
I know, man, and hopefully you get to meet him when we come out there.
I know, dude. I work there, so you let me know, and I'll be like, yo, I'll come on over.
We'll be out there like we have like a 4 or 5 day like pass. So
June and July, dude. Of course, you come like the hottest time here.
Dude, that's what my friend Gabe said. He was just like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna go because I have a buddy that lives out there as well, and I was like, hey, man, it'd be cool if you go. He was like, man, I don't know if I'll make it in July. He's like, it's gonna be too hot,
dude. June and July is like one of the worst, dude. You showed up at one of the worst times. It's gonna be hot.
Oh, that's brutal. But I mean, yeah. Well, we'll try to make it. The kids will be having fun regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It'll be fun.
All right, what else you got for me, my man? I know I've been yapping a lot.
No, you're good, man. Last thing, man. You just got married, and congratulations to that.
Thank you.
How is it like being married so far, and is it living up to your expectations?
Dude, it's awesome, man. I absolutely love my wife. Her name is Autumn, and
shout out to
she's
Autumn.
the best. And honestly, I probably would not like. I know this is gonna sound so cheesy because I feel like everyone says this, but it really is true. I would not be where I was if it wasn't for her. For the low times, for the high times, for just being like, you know what, babe, send the email. You know, why don't you reach out? You know, why don't you just keep going? Why don't you try this? Why don't you do that? She's always been a big supporter since day one. And honestly, as much as I've been grinding, if I didn't have her have my back and just pushing me a little bit more forward, I probably would have quit like 2 years ago. So I absolutely love the married life. I absolutely married the right woman. And for my fellow nerds out there, love always finds a way. You will find your woman.
There you go. You heard it from Blake here first, man, and he is experiencing it all. And that's very cool, man, to have a very supportive, wife like that, or even before when you just were dating her, girlfriend, she was very supportive in what you were doing. And that's very cool, man. She wasn't trying to drive you away from it, like saying, "Oh, you're wasting your time" or anything. So that's very cool, man. Because if they're trying to get you out of what you're wanting to do, and that's just not the right person for you.
100%, 100%. And be able to just have the real conversation too. You know, just even times where, you know, it's like, well, are you actually trying hard enough? Are you actually, like, be real with yourself? And those real conversations matter as well.
Yeah, it's all important, man. So that's cool to hear.
100%.
Well, man, dude, it's been an honor to have you on the show, and it was cool to hear about your backstory and get to chat some anime, some gaming with you, and Marvel and all that. So, man, I would have never known that you were dyslexic.
Yeah.
I knew you were probably
You're never going to
ADD.
unsee it now.
I knew you were probably ADD.
Yeah, you're never going to unsee it, brother. You're going to, every video now, you're going to be like, oh, there's the misspelled word.
One last question. Did we go to the moon?
Let's do it. That's such a good question. Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. Did we go to the moon? Okay. Are astronauts back in the 70s? Absolutely. Katy Perry? No.
Yeah, it's Katy Perry, an astronaut.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No. No. I think maybe they got high enough to where they were able to, you know, float, but I don't think they actually went to space.
Yeah.
I think it was too much liability.
Oh,
but at least
man.
it didn't turn out to be like the submarine situation.
Exactly. That'd have been brutal.
That would have been a whole different story.
Well, yeah. They wouldn't say that was fake then.
No, they wouldn't have said it was fake then.
Yeah.
I think it was half fake, not full fake.
Half fake, yeah.
Not fully to the skin, not fully, just enough to like lose some gravity. Or maybe they just went up and they started to free fall, so where they were starting to float.
On the way down, they started
on the way down, they're floating a little bit. They're like, okay, get back in your seats. You're good. We got the recording.
Yeah. We figured it out, man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So no to going to the moon or yes?
No. We'll go no.
No.
We'll go no.
Okay, I agree.
No. Sorry, Katy Perry. You can kiss a girl all you want, but you can't go to the moon.
No. Man, hey, man.
I don't know.
This has been awesome. Shout out to your social medias for us before we end it right here.
Yeah, we'll do. Guys, you could find me pretty much everywhere. It's the same username at Blake Koala. So BLAKE at KOALA. The only difference is Instagram is Blake_Koala because a bot stole my name. He has no followers. He doesn't exist, but he's there. So if you see a Blake Koala with no underscore, that's not me. On Instagram, Blake_Koala. Everywhere else, Blake Koala.
Awesome.
For
man.
everything nerdy. Movies, television, anime, and just a good time.
Awesome, brother. Well,
Thanks,
thank
man.
you guys for watching this show. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment who you want to see on this show in the comments below.
Some great people, man. Some great
Thank
people.
you to Blake for
Thank you,
bringing an
Logan.
awesome show. Until the next one, I'm out.